unspectacular offensively. They're good defensively, and that's how they win, and that's how you won on Thursday night. The Steelers are 5-3 after a 20-16 victory over the Titans of Tennessee. Good Friday to you. The opening drive, Jeff Symbieta, JJ Buck, and DC. What's up, y'all?
I like how the Steelers' wins are now being referred to as they Tomlined. They Tomlined their way to victory. This is a 5-win football team. This is a football team that is in playoff contention, and this is a football team that has been outgained in every one of their games this season. But they find a way, come out on top.
Well, it's Steelers. There's a lot of Steelers fans who are done with Tomlin, and you're like, wow, all they do is win, and they win, and they're unspectacular. I don't know who's the best coach in the world today. Who is it? Mike McDaniel? Would he be doing a lot more with Kenny Pickett? I'm just asking the question. Would he be doing a lot more with Kenny Pickett? Now, DC, I got negative points. I played George Pickens last night. I'm losing 11 point something to minus point something.
His final stat line was -1 yard. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah.
On how many catches?
2, I believe. Yeah, 2.
Two
This
catches.
that's not a PPR league. So yeah, I got minus points. Dude played Will Levis, who I thought looked good. Now you're gonna say, Jeff, he threw the interception at the end at the goal line. You're right. And with 6 seconds to go, he had to force something. Right? He had to. Now, was it a great pass? No, he threw it into coverage. And was there someone else where else to go? He got him down the field. I thought Will Levis looked in command. I love the way he throws the ball. I think he throws a beautiful ball. What does that mean? I think the ball's online. I think he gets there with velocity. I think he's got touch on it. He was playing a second NFL game yesterday.
It was a great spiral.
Back in the day when the Lobos used to practice, do camp up in Ruidoso, when the announcers came on from camp and was talking about who is it? Clayton Mitchum, the backup quarterback. Oh, and he throws an unbelievable spot. Wait, you're not going to believe when you see him throw. He was the backup quarterback or third string quarterback on one of the worst passing offenses in America. That was the year they led the nation in rushing and couldn't throw the ball. And it was like, oh, he throws an unbelievable spiral. It was like when Jerry Jones, which quarterback did he say the same thing about?
Brandon Weeden?
It might have been Brandon Weeden. Jerry Jones did the same thing. Oh, he throws a great ball. I don't know what you guys thought of Will Levis. I feel more comfortable for them now than maybe I did yesterday. I know they lost the game, and I know he threw the interception at the end of the game. But I feel he got him down the field. They got to finish drives. Okay, that's what he's got to learn how to do. But for a guy who was playing in his second NFL game on Thursday Night Football against a good defense and moved the ball the way they did, I feel like, I don't know, maybe they got a chance to have a quarterback.
It doesn't look overmatched. I think the Steelers last night, they did what they wanted to do. They bent some. They did not break it all. Because the thing with Will Levis, didn't throw a touchdown pass, coming out 4 touchdowns against the Atlanta Falcons. But you see it with the arm talent, the confidence. I think this team probably feels better about Will Levis moving forward because he is better down the field than Ryan Tannehill at this point. They still have Derrick Henry to lean on. Derrick Henry was good last night. And to me, there's no reason to go back to Ryan Tannehill right now.
I agree with that. And DeAndre Hopkins is there. They try to take him away. He found other guys, Okonkwo, Chris Moore on the last drive. Treylon Burks got hurt, and evidently he's alert and doing okay. When I watched it last night, and Al Michaels mentioned at one point the way he's got arm strength where it almost looks like he's flipping the ball, just flicking it with his wrist. I thought for the most part he was accurate. There was an interception that was dropped on that final drive, and yes, he threw an interception on that final drive. But I'm looking at that play. He's got to go into the end zone. There's no timeouts left. There's the play started I think with 12 seconds, 11 seconds to go, and you got nowhere to go. You got to go into the end zone. He got him down the field, and he didn't finish. And so I'm not sitting here saying, wow, they got an absolute guarantee thing. But I'm going to tell you, I feel like they've got a chance to maybe have a quarterback there. I don't know. What did you see when you watched him last night?
The arm obviously stands out. He makes fairly good decisions. I thought it was strange how they were doing so many direct snaps to Derrick Henry. It kind of shows that they're
well, and they did one at the goal line, and it cost them, right? Early on, it was first and goal at the 1. They tried that thing. The right guard pulls and moves early, and so why not just? I agree with you on that.
Yeah, you got to trust the quarterback. You got to give him a leash, a little more than what he had. I will say this: after the game, his comments stood out to me. He sounded like a leader.
Yeah.
After 2 games, he understood that he needed to play better.
Got to finish drives.
Exactly. I liked his comments. I feel like you're right. They might have a guy there, and I'd be pretty excited if I was a Titans fan.
JJ, what you said really, I think is so right. He doesn't look overwhelmed. In his second start on prime time in Pittsburgh, that crowd was pretty electric from what it looked like. He didn't look overwhelmed. It didn't look like it was too big for him. He looked like he was in command. And look, he realizes he's got DeAndre Hopkins. He threw to him 11 times. Now, 4 of them were complete, but he realizes what he's got there. I'm not telling you he's Tom Brady.
He's fine.
Yeah.
Like, he's a young quarterback making his second start.
Yeah.
He didn't throw a touchdown pass, but he didn't throw an interception early in the game that cost him. It was late. They had to force it into the end zone. They didn't have any timeouts left. They were at like the 25 or something. Yeah. So he had to push the football downfield because they couldn't keep taking underneath stuff that they're giving him on the final drive, because Steelers knew exactly how to play that defensively. And there's just a confidence of, we finally have a quarterback to give a chance to. Ryan Tannehill did his job. The team went to the playoffs. They've gone on some runs, but he's hurt. There's not an excitement. There's not an extra gear for that offense, and that's what Will Levis brings them. Now, when it comes to the goal line snaps with Derrick Henry, they've run that before, and they've run jump passes off it. Yeah. So it's a part of their goal line package.
I think sometimes teams just get too damn cute.
They scored a touchdown on it earlier this season with a jump pass.
Yeah,
so.
I get it. You got the ultimate battering ram at the goal line, and you can throw out of that package. I get it. I think sometimes you get too damn cute. On first down, there you are, bang on the door. I would give it to him once to say, jam the ball in the end zone. But that's fine. Look, here's where I came out on this, and I'm not sitting here telling you I'm ecstatic. Oh, he's unbelievable.
Give him a chance.
My point is, and I told you this yesterday when you asked the question, who is it? Would you rather be them or who? Was it Atlanta?
No, the question wasn't it Will Levis and Kenny Pickett yesterday?
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay. And we both said Will Levis?
And Kenny's like, well, here's a game-winning drive.
Yeah,
right.
Look, and Kenny Pickett did what Kenny Pickett does. And your stat here that says Kenny Pickett is 6-1 in primetime, and that's great. He's what is he every on Sundays? I mean, okay, and it's a good stat. No, it is.
It was just one of those. It's those weird things like Kirk Cousins can never win primetime, but then Kenny Pickett is, and they're just like, what's?
Yeah, but does that make Kenny Pickett better than Kirk Cousins? Right? It's a weird stat. I'm not sitting here telling you, look, sign him up and give him a $55 million a year deal. What I'm saying is, kind of, it enforces what I thought yesterday. I like him. I like him getting a chance. And if you're going to say, like, right now, if you redid draft day, you like him or Bryce Young?
That's a really good
I think
question.
C.J. Stroud goes to the top of the class, right?
I think you're right about that.
Rank me Anthony Richardson, Will Levis, and Bryce Young right now. You've seen them both play at least 2, or all 3 play at least 2 games in the NFL.
Richardson's a tough one because of the injury.
Because you don't know.
Yeah, you don't know. So that one I'd probably leave out.
Well, but you've seen enough of him to play a little bit, right? I mean, you saw him play parts of, 4 or 5 games? I mean, you've seen this guy play too. It's hard. I don't know that I've got a definitive answer for you. I believe that C.J. Stroud right now, as we sit here now, is number one. I might lean Levis after 2 games. I know you like Richardson a lot.
Part of it too is just size.
Yeah.
Like you look at
it, right?
Bryce Young, and people have actually praised just the accuracy, its competitiveness, because they have started the season really rough in Carolina, but it's one that, what did people miss
on Bryce Young?
On Will Levis?
Well, there was an attitude thing, right? There was something on attitude. I'm going to tell you, because I watched him drop in the draft, and what was the draft time? There was one of those last minute stories that came out. It was some.
While he was rehabbing, he was putting out these pictures of him basically bulking up. And
so it was kind of the vain look at me thing.
That seemed to be the big story before the draft.
Yeah, is this too much? And it might be. I watched him last night stand in the pocket with confidence. A big dude in that stadium. It reminded me a little bit of Ben.
Yes.
That's okay. So it's not
No,
too
that's
much?
too much.
It is too much. Okay.
Because with Will Levis, I want to give him a chance. And I think what you're saying, I can't say that he's better than Bryce Young right now. I can't say
that's
that
okay.
everyone missed him because we just watched Jordan Love have a couple good games during the season.
That's what I'm saying.
And he has a worse completion percentage in the NFL.
Yeah.
What Will Levis, for me, has shown is Tennessee deserves to give him a chance.
And really, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because my point on the evaluation process when I ask the question is it's so fickle and it changes every. I'm not completely sold that he's going to be better than Bryce Young. And when I said it reminded me of Ben last night, it was a big dude who stands in the quarterback with a big arm, or a big dude who stands in the pocket with a big arm, isn't afraid to take a hit, and is pretty accurate. I mean, that's a big dude standing in the pocket and not afraid, right? Kind of like Ben. That's what it reminded me of. Not dudes hanging on him like that. And your point's 100%. That's why I said today, as you rank him, would you put him ahead of Bryce Young? And as of right now, yeah, I think I would. But it might change next week, right? And that's what's so fickle because the sample size is 2 games. It's not enough. All right, that's what you had in the NFL last night. It was interesting. Guest list today. Stay with us. 8 o'clock this morning. Richard Pitino scheduled to be with us. Lobos open up the basketball season, both men and women, on Monday at the Pit. A men-women doubleheader, both against Texas Southern, kind of high school style, don't you think? The women will go at 5, and then the men will go after that. We can talk to Richard Pitino about getting ready for the season and what he learned in the exhibition games and where the playing time's coming from for everyone, right? But this is a good problem to have. It always seems to work itself out, whether it's guys just flat out earning their way up, injuries, defections, whatever it is. But it's a really good problem to have, so we'll do that. That'll be at 8 o'clock this morning. I want to get into the NBA stuff when we come back. Boy, a crazy night for Victor Wembanyama. He arrived. He announced it last night. Oh, and James Harden arrived in L.A. Does he believe the stuff that's coming out of his own mouth? It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610. The Sports Animal, your home for Sunday night and Monday night and Thursday night football.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Spell, get ready!
My coach, my teacher, my older sisters, my grandma, my brother, my tutor, my dad and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
Hi, I'm Steve Stucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them, gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us, and my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
If you're drunk, blasted, intoxicated, rip, plastered, destroyed, bruh. If you're like this, you shouldn't be driving.
We here at Clark's Pet Emporium welcome you to bring in your pets. We know that having your pet with you makes the experience of shopping for them even better. And we welcome you to bring your kids also. Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman!
Boom! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight.
Boom! Boom!
These days, it's important to know people and businesses you can trust. There's a lot of places where you can buy a vehicle, but there's only a few local dealerships where you'll find honest people who have your best interests in mind. And Fiesta Kia is one of them. We've been helping our neighbors save money and drive dependable cars for years, and we'd love to help you. With new Kias arriving daily, you'll love our selection and the peace of mind you'll get driving a Kia from Fiesta. So stop by and see us today at Fiesta Kia on Lomas, or just start driving now at fiestakia.com.
They had a 26-point lead at some point that disappeared. After the game, he was asked, what have you learned about after a few games in the NBA? He said, I learned that a 20 points lead is not very much. This is what he said. So Wembanyama became the first player to score at least 85 points, grab 35 rebounds, and have 10 blocks in his first 5 NBA games since Shaquille O'Neal did it in 1992. You watch him, I'm just amazed. And watching the highlights of him play in Europe, I was amazed. Watching him play amongst these men now, I believe I'm going to be amazed. Your impression after the first 5 games of Wembanyama?
Just let him go.
Yeah.
They let him play the most minutes so far of the season. Last night responded with 38 and 10 on 57% shooting from the field, 50% from 3. And it's rare in this game when you can make NBA dudes look like kids. And when that guy catches the ball in the post and keeps it high, you can't block his shot. And his touch is really good around the basket. His body movement is not awkward.
No.
That's the thing with a lot of lengthy guys, it can get awkward. And they don't quite have the athleticism you want. And that's not the case with Wembanyama.
Yeah, super graceful. Yeah. Earlier this week, Shaquille O'Neal, the aforementioned Shaquille O'Neal, who, of course, is part of the NBA's great NBA Tonight on TNT with Ernie and Kenny and Chuck. Everybody's on first. Are you allowed to be on first name basis with them, or you got to call him Coach? Sorry. He compared Wembanyama, did Shaq, to bowl. Reggie Miller said never seen anything like it. And Shaq said, quote, I want to go with Reggie Miller a little bit. He talked about how he's never seen a guy like Wembanyama. Yes, you have. His name's Bol. Like, wait, what? Bol? Wembanyama's just way more consistent than Bol, but Bol is the first 7-footer that we've seen doing that. Okay. Hardly. I don't know. I haven't seen enough Bol because he hasn't played very much. Is he the same thing? No. Is the answer. No is the answer.
They're long and tall guys from Manute Bol to Bol to Victor Wembanyama. Victor's got a few more skills in his bag.
Big difference. All right, the other big NBA stuff yesterday. Your guy, James Harden, is in L.A. He showed up, was on the bench when the Lakers beat the Clippers 2 nights ago. And they put James Harden in front of a mic yesterday, and we hadn't heard a lot from him since China, right? I mean, honestly, was that the last time we've heard him speak? Was when he was talking to a bunch of kids in China this summer over at a clinic. This is James Harden's take on his time in Philadelphia.
I don't think when I'm in a leash, I'm not meant just shooting the basketball every time. I meant like I think the game and I'm a creator on the court. You know what I mean? So if I got a voice to where I can, hey coach, I see this. You know what you think about this? Then it's like, oh, okay. Like somebody that trusts me, that believes in me, that understands me, that I'm just not I'm not a system player. I am a system. You know what I mean? So somebody that can have that dialogue with me and understand and move forward and figure out and make adjustments on the fly throughout the course of games. That's all I really care about. You know what I mean? It's not about me scoring a basketball, scoring 30, 34 points. I've done it already. So that's what I meant by that.
I'm not even sure what he said, other than I am a system. His nickname's always been the Beard, right? Because he's now the system. I mean, he said that he was on a leash during his time in Philadelphia, that he is not a system player, that he is a system, that he took $26 million less to sign and make the Philadelphia 76ers better. Quote, changing my role, which the media felt is ball dominant, which my ball dominance is really effective, but changing my role, trying to change the narrative, trying to sacrifice and do whatever it takes to win at the highest level, that's not talked about. It's the other BS. So I'm leaving Brooklyn thinking I'm going to retire. Look, as a Sixer, on and on. Everybody has screwed James Harden the whole way. I actually really used to like James Harden.
When he was with Oklahoma City as a six-man,
Yeah.
I really liked that team a lot. I liked
Harden
Harden
with Russ,
especially.
Westbrook and Durant.
Yeah, that was a fun team to watch.
You thought that was going to be a dynastic team, that first NBA Finals appearance that they had against the Miami Heat. And then they're like, we're going to stay with Serge Ibaka over James Harden. And off you went.
Yes, indeed. You are so right, because at that time, you thought they were the next big thing.
Sure. Well, they were. Why wouldn't they have been? And then to JJ's point, they just made the wrong move. You hear him say that. Well, I'm not gonna lie. When the first time I heard it yesterday, I'm like, wait, stop. He doesn't believe. I had to look up and then go find it and see his face. Like, was he kidding? When he says that, so it was everybody else's fault. I'm not a system player. I'm the system. I was on a leash. You're gonna hear Joel Embiid respond to that in a moment. What do you think to that?
It's a person with zero self-awareness.
That's right. That's really good. So this wasn't just about Daryl Morey lied to me. Now it's got to be, well, the coach didn't play me right. The system wasn't good. Everybody did me wrong. All right, Joel Embiid is the MVP, the reigning MVP. He is the alpha on the Philadelphia 76ers. He is the guy who played with James Harden. I say played with. It's like us to assume they all played every day. He was with him every day on that team. Sixers won last night. They beat the Raptors 114-99. But that's not what the talk was after the game. It's a little hard to hear, and I'll paraphrase it for you afterwards. But this is Embiid after the game when asked about what Harden had to say.
But in my opinion, I just feel like, we allowed him to just be himself, and we gave him the ball every single possession. And because he's really good. I mean, he's an amazing, player. Obviously, being that great of a passer, I think we gave him the ball. If you watch again, we gave him the ball every single possession to just go out and, do his thing.
All right.
And, from there.
Basically, he said he's a great player, but we gave him the ball every single possession, let him do his thing.
If there's ever a checkmate response, it was that from Joel Embiid. He was cool, calm, and collected about his response, and he reminded everyone that James Harden led the league in assists. That James Harden had the ball in his hands when he was with the Philadelphia 76ers. Oh, and this is a guy that just won an NBA MVP in Joel Embiid.
Yeah, so
that's not complaining about not having the basketball. It's not complaining about working with another player in James Harden. And so this just goes right back to James Harden has gotten his way every single time in the NBA. And it's not just, I'm not one of those people that's upset and be like, oh my gosh, how can you let the players be forcing their way out again? Well, if James Harden is acting like that, of course I'm going to want him out of there. But we know who he is at this point in time. It's the same thing with Kyrie Irving. It's like you're not going to sell me that this dude is going to be any different when he's been the same exact person over the course of his career.
What do parents tell you early? When someone shows you who they are, believe them, right? I mean, when someone shows you who they are, believe them. How many times does he have to show you? It's always someone else's fault with both of those guys. With both of those guys. And it's crazy they were together. But it's always someone else's fault. And I agree with you. Checkmate, Joel Embiid. I mean, he didn't go off on dude. Said, what's that dude flipping talking about? No, what he said is he's a great player. He did, but he had the ball every possession. He did whatever he wanted. Hence, he is the system. But yet, he's got to come back, and he is so angry and so bitter. And I was on a leash. I don't know, man. He's become really unlikable.
That is correct.
Really, really unlikable. And I don't know who Clipper fan is. I think it's just whoever can't get Laker tickets is Clipper fan. I believe that to be the case. I wonder how Clipper fan feels. Are they like, yeah, we got the Beard, and we got Westbrook, and we got Kawhi, and we got Paul George, and we're woo?
Yes. At this point, Clipper fan is Steve Ballmer.
Wow.
And he's just excited about the toilets.
What they in the new building. Yeah. What they need, instead of him building that new building, is take all that money and build a time machine and revert back to 2016 and take this team with him, and they'd be really good then. Take this team back 5, 6, 7, 8 years. They'd be really good. I just don't see how it works. Did we play this game yesterday? Over, under, how many games all four of them will play together?
Yeah, you had it at 19 and a half.
I even think that's too high now. Because we're 5 games in, so there's 78 games left. Yeah, I'll go. I mean, if you put it at 19 and a half, the 4 of them play all together, I'll take the under.
Even with the extra in-season tournament games you get.
Which starts like tonight or something? Yeah. You excited about the big tournament? The big NBA tournament starts tonight. You guys ready?
The NBA Cup.
The NBA Cup. The David Silver Cup. I'm going to put somebody's name on it. See, now, if they'd have put Kobe's name on that, all of a sudden people would have been interested. That might have been their move. To make people care.
They're early enough in the process that things like that will potentially come up.
No, seriously.
Yeah.
If I know they would probably want to put a corporate sponsor name on it to pay for it. You know, the T-Mobile Cup or whatever.
The T-Mobile Kobe Bryant Cup.
But don't you think that would, if you'd have put, because, I mean, honestly, or the Michael Jordan Cup for that matter.
That would be an interesting one.
Or the LeBron people then, well, I don't want to play in that. We're better than this.
You got to be out of the league to have your name on a cup, right?
Don't you?
I think.
Yeah. But that would have been a marketing thing where it almost feels like you want to give this tournament some, I don't know, validity, some interest. That might, I mean, anything you put Kobe's name on, it feels like, well, okay, I'm listening. All right, 505-246-0610 is how to get to us. Thoughts on the NFL last night? thoughts on the NBA last night, because it's kind of bonkers. And the Michigan thing isn't going away. It just gets gnarlier and gnarlier. Now one coach says, no, I got evidence he was at our game. What should they do next? And when? It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal, your home for Sunday night and Monday night and Thursday night football.
It's a fake. They have a man. It's a conversion on the fake. It's complete out wide to the big tight end, David Butler. And it's a Rams first down.
That's tough.
I'll say he stepped out of bounds at the 15. Right back to it, and he is in. Touchdown for Charles Lopez Burton.
Olivas has some time. Josiah Mitchell, it's intercepted! Touchdown. It'll go the distance, and Jared Meechan.
Bunch formation to the left. Cabrera, the handoff. Cabrera's got some room. Up the middle of the 45-40. Foot race to the end zone. Cabrera trying to outrace the Matador secondary. Dash drug down. Touchdown, I believe. That'll be a 70-yard touchdown run, and it is. Cabrera
right alongside. We expect to be a low-scoring game. Garcia has a lot of speed. Garcia is gone. Nobody gonna catch him. Touchdown Vikings. Daniel Garcia with breakaway speed.
Yeah. Brandon Olivas, see if he can get the same sort of magic. This time he looks to his right first, then he's looking to his left. He's gonna bomb this out there for Moorhead again! Jahari Moorhead! My goodness!
Kyle Evan Huss back to work on the option. He'll flip it out. Big time hole there. See you later. One play and to the house for Malachi Gutierrez. Rolling. Pressure. It's coming from the side now. He's rolling. Goes down the field. Open man. Touchdown! Elijah Hansen connects.
And that will be blocked up front. Picked up! And I think we've got ourselves a return for a touchdown. Jace Henderson, the sophomore, has a million.
I don't know if I could have done that or not. Remember all those signals to give the quarterback.
Rivera throws over the middle, intercepted.
Guess
Third
who that
is there's
is?
Megan Post.
Guess who that
Megan
is?
Posa. Posa down the right side, still on his feet down the left side now, cuts it back up the hash. Posa may score. Posa still on his feet. Dragging a tackler to the end zone, dives in, touchdown, I believe. Let's see, touchdown.
That has to be a
Megan
touchdown.
Posa.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is Pro Beef. From pros to prep. All your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
Now, hard. We got the pom pom on the top of the beanie. It's I got to figure out how to put the helmet on the new beanie. I like the new Isleta New Mexico Bowl beanies that came in for the student athletes.
Looks great,
huh?
Oh, it is nice, very nice.
6 weeks away from game day, and the gear's coming in, boys.
So let me ask you this:
Yeah.
You say it's for the athletes. Can person attending the game buy that?
Yeah, so we got these will be for the student athletes, and for our executive board will get these. And then I know Zia Graphics made X number, so they're going to be selling these as well.
They're going to sell out.
Yeah, these came out really nice. The new Isleta New Mexico Bowl gear is coming in, and we got it's so cool. Hey, if you still want to get in on that Jingle Bowl, by the way, with the Hispano Chamber, go to Albuquerque Hispano Chamber, ahcnm.org, and click on Jingle Bowl and be part of that. And it's you can have fun with that and win the big package at the Isleta New Mexico Bowl. All right, 505-246-0610, Jeff, JJ, DC. So the NCAA investigating Michigan, I apologize. I teased it. I said the Michigan thing as if I assume everybody knows. And I, like JJ said, well, if you don't know by now, and everybody kind of does, but if you don't, the NCAA is investigating Michigan for off-campus scouting and sign stealing. You're not allowed to send personnel to another game to scout sign stealing, nor are you allowed to use electronic equipment in regards to stealing signs in college football. Michigan sent a staff member, and I don't even think this is allegedly anymore, right? A guy named Connor Stallions. He's the guy at the center of the probe, and he's been suspended by the school with pay, by the way. And he's got tickets to games all around the Big Ten and all of their opponents. And yesterday we found out, and this is really interesting, all of the other coaches in the Big Ten were on a call with the commissioner, and they want something done. And I told you yesterday, and I will stand by this, nothing will get done before the end of the season because there is way too much money at stake for that league to take Michigan out of contention for a college football playoff. Now, if this was Purdue or Indiana or Northwestern or Iowa or Maryland or Rutgers or Nebraska or someone who was not going, it was just going to a bowl game, but not to a college football playoff, then we might get a resolution. And I heard Desmond Howard on ESPN, and he's a Michigan guy. But he said, I would ask all these other coaches this, would you want punishment rushed to without due process? Well, it feels like due process has basically been done, doesn't it? Nobody's denying this.
Yeah, there's no denying it. And if you're, again, the Big Ten, what situations have you ruled on and what can you rule on versus the NCAA? As much as people think the NCAA doesn't do nothing, they still have rules and enforcement committees that they use in this process. Yep. And so that's what I'm leaning on as the Big Ten. But I know all you other coaches are upset. However, who have we leaned on in the past? Have they done that to anyone themselves to something of this magnitude?
It's hard to find something.
Yeah, as opposed to leveling fines for court storming or things like that you see come down for conferences. But when was the last time a conference has been in charge of this? This comes down from the NCAA.
Yeah, and that's where this is getting dicey. Purdue's head coach is Ryan Walters. They go to Michigan on Saturday. He said that his school has evidence that Michigan was there scouting the Boilermakers earlier this season. He was on his radio show, kind of like Lobo Talk. I think they call it Boiler Talk or Boilermaker Takers. Boilermaker Takes? What would you call the show? It's Lobo Talk here. Would it be Boilermaker Taker?
Or the Purdue Coaches Show.
How about the Boiler Takers? Boiler Takes.
Boiler Takes?
Boiler Takes. Boiler Takers. All right, anyway. He was on that show yesterday. Quote from the head coach, Ryan Walters of Purdue, about this. It's unfortunate. What's crazy is they weren't allegations. It happened. There's video evidence. There's ticket purchases and sales that you can track back. We know for a fact that they were at a number of our games. So we've got to teach our guys new language in terms of some signals, end quote. Okay. I don't feel too bad that you got to change your signals up. That, to me, that's not the meat of this. The meat is, I got a coach finally putting his name on it. I think it's really cute when everybody comes out and anonymously says, we need to do something. We need to make something. And it's all anonymous. Finally, I got a coach saying, no, dude, they did it. And the big coaches held that call with Commissioner Tony Petitti and expressed all their concerns about it. And there were a lot of athletic directors on a call. Well, all the athletic directors were on a call yesterday afternoon. And they echoed in part the same thing. And the NCAA's timeline for investigations and infractions would stretch well beyond this season, but the commissioner does have the authority, JJ, to investigate and impose discipline on Michigan from the Big Ten's sportsmanship policy.
Good to know.
So that's where there's, to your point, this has always been an NCAA infraction thing, but the Big Ten has a sportsmanship policy upon which he has the authority to impose discipline. The commissioner is scheduled to be in Ann Arbor today. Now, he was going to be there anyway because the Big Ten field hockey tournament. How about that? You ever seen field hockey?
A little bit.
It's kind of cool. The Big Ten field hockey tournament today in Ann Arbor. So, a source, whoever the source is, and he should, says the commissioner will meet with Michigan President Santo Ono during this trip. Now, coaches have generally avoided publicly discussing the Michigan allegations, right? Walters and Purdue's evidence of the Michigan activities, I guess, has caused changes in preparation for the game. Quote, we'll operate differently offensively. You might see us in a huddle for the first time this season. It is what it is. We're excited to go play. That was the coach. Look, I'm not too bummed out that you got to change your damn signals. Like you probably should make a practice of changing your signals a little bit. Although we had that text the other day. Remember Rocky Long, according to one former player, didn't change his signals from 2019 till he left.
Well, when we talk about sign selling in the over and above that we've seen, from the Houston Astros to Michigan, this isn't just a part of the game. Part of the game is being on second base and picking something up. Part of the game is understanding a call as a middle linebacker in the flow of a game. Is seeing, every time
what Omaha means.
Yeah, every time they look over the sideline and they get this signal, we know that is outside zone. Like things within a game you pick up because that is part of sport. When you're doing things like this, of course you should be upset and frustrated and just wondering, why do you need to do that?
Well, people are losing their minds.
Is it like if you're Jim Harbaugh,
yeah,
and you know
It's
how
such a
good that
question.
team is,
It's such a good question.
is it you are that like insecure, like you're that like this is the only way we're going to be able to stay in front of people is by doing this?
I think I'm the smartest guy in the room. And look, we all know someone who's always the smartest guy in the room. And they're always right, first of all. And they always think they're going to get away with it. They're always right. Smartest guy in the room never apologizes, right? Because he's never done anything wrong. And it kind of feels like that's where Harbaugh is with this.
Because like if this dude really was dressed as a Central Michigan
on the sideline
staffer on the sideline, that's ridiculous.
What are we doing? With a fake mustache on?
Like at that point, I'm like, I don't care, Jim, if this ruins your season. You did it to yourself. Those kids should feel upset because you're doing this to a fantastic football team.
So I know we got to take this break. When we come back, I want to take this to the next step because you brought something up right now that really lies at the crux of a lot of the conversation. So what should be done? And I asked you this yesterday, and I want to get into it because we never really got into the meat of it. And I'd love to hear from some of you all who are sitting out there. You've heard about this. You're probably like me, heard about it peripherally. Yeah, whatever. And then you realize, well, this is a really big freaking deal. I got student athletes who are busting their butts every day. I got a really good football team, maybe the best football team in America. And I got a coach or a coaching staff who flat out violated policy. If you want to call them rules, whatever. What should be done? How severe, how quickly? It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610. The Sports Animal, your home for Sunday night and Monday night and Thursday night football.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
If you're drunk, blasted, intoxicated, ripped, plastered, destroyed, bruh. If you're like this, you shouldn't be driving.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman!
Boom! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight.
Boom! Boom!
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
We here at Clark's Pet Emporium welcome you to bring in your pets. We know that having your pet with you makes the experience of shopping for them even better. And we welcome you to bring your kids also. Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend.
Hi, I'm Steve Stucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, backed by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often alcohol is involved.
Something to be done in discipline. And I've been asking what should be done? What's the right discipline? And I think I've kind of settled on, and I know, DC, you got something different. I don't know where you are, JJ. Harbaugh maybe should be suspended for, I don't know, you can even tell me the rest of the season. Whomever would be found to be the ringleader should be suspended. But I don't know, man. Do you take the season away from these kids? It's a tough one for me. Now, this helped them win games, Jeff. I don't know. They've won every game by 30 points. Did it really? If you want to, I don't know, take away a win. I don't know which one you're doing. But that's kind of where I am. You feel this is pretty egregious.
I do. To have someone at the top involved in any way, to me, means he's part of the problem, leading the problem in some ways. I seriously doubt they were able to pull this off under his nose, just completely unbeknownst to him.
So you think?
So yes, what I think is you should ban him from the NCAA and all athletic competitions for at least 10 years. Make it so when his kids are going through, you can't go to a game. You can do nothing but be a parent. Doesn't matter if you're in the NFL, you're not invited to this party for the next 10 years.
Yeah, that's quite extreme.
Show cause.
What do you think?
And this is one that it's hard, but because you're right, this team didn't do anything wrong. These players are really good, and they could lose an opportunity just because someone got over their skis, and that someone could even be their head coach. And so the head coach, who, if you don't like it, then why are you here? Or why haven't you brought up things in meetings? Why haven't you pushed your AD and president, be like, hey, can we get these things addressed? Could we move forward in these committees and get rules changed? Because coaches are willing to talk about it. Nick Saban talks about it all the time. How rules should not be unanimous for 3 different levels of football. How if you have the money, you should be able to make it work to do other things. And if you want to play the game that way, then go get the rules changed. Don't just do it and say, well, we might not be the only ones, but.
So you think the head coach should be suspended?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Tony, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. Hi, Tony.
Good morning, gentlemen. How are you guys doing?
Good. How you doing?
Good. So, this is my thing, okay? What happened to Belichick with all the Spygate stuff? And yes, I know college and the pros is different animal, but it's still the same. What happened to Belichick?
I think they lost draft picks and the franchise got fined, if I'm not mistaken.
So that happened to him. When Josh McDaniels got caught doing it, he lasted 1 week and then he was canned. When Josh McDaniels was filming the San Francisco 49ers practice.
Okay.
When they played, I think in London or Mexico, one of those is the dark years when he was there. So now, here's the thing. Everyone, so the kids, they're doing it to the kids. Well, no one, when all that happened in the pros, no one's talking about those players. And those players' careers are, not as short as a 4-year college athlete, but their careers are also short. No one talks about them. But when it comes to Harbaugh, he was actually on the sideline. I mean, has he had any other infractions? Has he been involved in anything else?
Wasn't he suspended for the first 3 games of this season?
What?
He was.
I don't
yes.
I don't
the
know.
answer is yes.
He should be canned.
The answer is
Fired
yes. All right.
Done. I mean, if you didn't learn the first time and you're still doing it again, and then again, I'm sorry, I don't know why he was suspended for the first 3 games, but if you broke one rule that got you suspended for 3 games at the beginning of the season, and then you still didn't learn and you went and you broke another rule, he should be fired.
Strike 2, you're out. Fired. All right, man. No, I appreciate you. Thanks. What was what do you remember why? It was a recruiting thing, right? Oh, find it. Sherman, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal.
Yes, good morning to you. I 2 points. For me, perhaps the most egregious offense is to his own players. I mean, if you're the head basketball coach, you're teaching your players to go cheat and steal. Yep. I mean, that's incredibly egregious for a football coach. Secondly, if this was the business world, if somebody went and, quote, stole let's say,
proprietary
Apple's
information,
intellectual property.
Yeah.
Wow, we would sue them to the end of the earth. So, in sports we call it cheating. In the business world, we call it what it is, stealing, and you get sued. So, yes, this is a very, very serious
So what would you do? What should he be fired? Should suspended?
I don't know my answer to that.
Yeah. And I think that's where...
But it's serious, it's egregious, and it needs to be a serious consequence. Firing would be an option, yes. But I don't have a firm answer.
Right on. No, it's good to hear you, Sherman. Thank you. And I think that's where everybody's kind of caught up on this.
So the initial stuff with Jim Harbaugh was Michigan tried to get out in front. And they're like, hey, we're going to suspend Harbaugh for 3 games. Initially, there was that 4-game suspension that I thought was agreed upon. The NCAA came back and was like, oh, this is not good enough. Recruiting violations.
All right. Changing paths when we get back. Lobos open up the basketball season on Monday. Ladies and men against Texas Southern in the pit. Lobo men's basketball coach Richard Pitino is going to join us next. Really excited to talk to him about this team. Young, veteran, big, quick. There's a lot to be excited about Lobo basketball. And going to talk to Richard Pitino about getting ready and what to expect as you go into opening week. It is Texas Southern, and then they jump into it even deeper, going to St. Mary's on Thursday. It's the opening drive. Richard Pitino's next on 95.9 FM. And AM 610, the sports animal, your home for Sunday night and Monday night and Thursday night football.
Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in boot camp. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you. I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number 1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, backed by the Duke.
Sports show in New Mexico for 5 years running. It's the OD in the AM with 3-time New Mexico Sportscaster of the Year, Jeff Symbieta and JJ Bond.
It feels like school should be closed and you shouldn't have to go to work. It's like a state holiday when basketball season opens up, tips off here in the state of New Mexico. That will be Monday. No, you still got to go to work. I don't have that authority to give you the day off, although I will write you a note if that does you any good. Lobo men and women tip off against Texas Southern on Monday at the Pit. Ladies go first. The men will go after that. Big opening week for the men. They will get Texas Southern and then take off and go to St. Mary's, nationally ranked St. Mary's. And here we go. Opening drive, Jeff Symbieta, JJ Buck. We are joined this morning by the head basketball coach on the men's side at the University of New Mexico. Richard Pitino joins us. Happy hoop season, Richard. How you living?
Doing good. I'm fired up. I think like everybody else. You know, the off season is long, so when it gets here, you can just see our guys perk up a little bit, and they're excited to get going.
Yeah, you know, you're deep. You're really deep, and I know you knew this, and it's got to be a first world problem to have so many guys who I think you feel good about, and just watching what Quentin did the other day and watching, you know, True Washington and watching JT Toppin and knowing what you've got in some of the veterans. Coaching staff is, I guess, every day in practice means that much more, doesn't it, for playing time for these guys?
Well, we're certainly a lot deeper than we've been in the 2 years I've been here. Now, we have had a lot of injuries that have hurt the depth, so it'll be fun to, obviously now that Nelly's here, we'll get Jalen House, we'll get Jamal Baker, we'll get Isaac Mushila all somewhat back in practice, and that's the biggest thing is competition. It gets them better. It gets them to understand that it's clear, like, I cannot play everybody. And I don't think they would want that. So it's going to bring out the most in them. It's going to make us better in the end, and certainly fun to have a lot of options.
Yeah, on the injury front, Jalen and Isaac didn't play in the preseason games or the exhibition games. Timetable at all? Do you know if you're going to have them this week, and you know whether or not Monday, maybe for Thursday at St. Mary's?
They'll all be. We practice this afternoon. We're going to do a little Lobo Club /505 deal today, and we will have all of them back at some capacity. Jalen will do some contact. Jamal Baker has had just knee issues in the past, so we kind of held him out, and then Isaac Mushila will make somewhat of a return. So we anticipate by Monday all three will be available.
Coach, last year we saw Donovan Dent as a true freshman show his ability. What were some of the biggest things that he improved on in the off season, and the minutes that he was able to have with Jalen House sitting out? How does that set him up to start the year?
Well, I've told Donovan Dent, and I've probably said this with every media interview, that Donovan's the future of the program. When we recruited him out of Corona Centennial, he was a champion. He was a guy that everybody loved playing with. And normally what that means is they're really good passers. And Donovan certainly is an elite-level passer. I think just last year he had a good freshman year. Teams regarding him as a guy who can't shoot the basketball. We have told him over and over again, there's a mental component to that when you play off like that. So if somebody plays off like Wyoming did to you, you got to shoot the ball. He's much more confident. He's much more, not that he was immature, but there's just an approach to the game that's a little bit different. You could tell that a year under his belt has really, really helped. And it's like everything else, and kind of like what Jeff mentioned, like, I have to now decide, like, I got to play him. You know, I mean, if he continues to play the way that he is, like, I would be silly to not try to figure it out. And that's a great problem to have as a coach. So he's terrific in high ball screen. You know, we've been going to that in the middle of these games, and he's been lethal in getting guys open shots.
Yeah, and for that, the ability that you could have like a lead guard, a lead playmaker on the floor for 40 minutes, depending on how you stagger it with him and House, how much does that help the offense? Does that help when you have some of the second unit guys in there as you go throughout the season?
Well, depth is, especially in today's world where coaches are becoming less and less screamers. It's like that Bob Knight clip that I saw on Twitter yesterday about the bench is the greatest motivator. And it's very, you know, for the first time last game, I was able to pull guys for some defensive mistakes and hold them accountable throughout the course of the game where I didn't have that last year. Like, I really, really liked, and not to say we had bad players, but we just had so much inexperience on the bench. I really liked our team last year, but I feel like right now I could legitimately play all 12 scholarship guys. And they need to understand, you know, okay, here are the standards on the court. You don't have to be perfect, but this is the effort level that we need. This is the defensive intensity. This is the rebounding, the shot selection. And if you don't do it, I've got really good players on the bench, so there shouldn't be a big drop-off. I haven't had that in the first 2 years, and that just takes time when you're building a program. It doesn't mean we're going to win every game by any means, but it just means that we're going to hopefully progress the way that we need to because of the options we have.
Global men's basketball coach Richard Pitino's with us on The Sports Animal. Maybe you found out how long you can hold your breath. We all did with Nelly Jr. Joseph being held up with the visa issues getting here, and you know the details much more than any of us. Not asking to get into it, but as much as you can share, how nervous did you get? Was there a point where you're like, I wonder if he's going to get here or get here in time? Was there a point that you started thinking, all right, what's plan B?
Yeah, well, you always think plan B. I mean, we operated in the sense of that, as scary as that sounds, that he wasn't going to be here because he wasn't here. So every single day we were developing Sebastian like we always want to do. We were developing Jaden Toppin. We were playing Daraje, who's a walk-on, just in case. We just didn't know when he'd show up. So we were certainly very, very nervous. I felt as though he would get it. There was no reason why he wouldn't get his visa renewed. The hard part was, and what I don't think people can wrap their brain around, is we had no contact in the Nigerian embassy. They received his paperwork in August, and they waited until October to respond. So that was really as simple as it was. So you felt horrible for the kid, but I don't think people quite understand. Nelly's been here for a week. And I've played him in 2 games already. He's hardly practiced, and he's been pretty good. So we kind of had to hit reset with everything, terminology-wise, playbook-wise. And it's been a little hard, certainly, but it's not always a bad thing when you kind of refresh a little bit and get back to the basics so everybody knows we're on the same page. But I felt like it would happen. I was really eager. I wanted to get him here certainly before that first exhibition game. I didn't think it'd be 2 days before it, but beggars can't be choosers.
But he's here. Put him in a uniform and let him go. You said something the other day, and I think it was in response to something about what did you learn in an exhibition game. And I'm paraphrasing, but you said, look, you know, I knew what I had. It's rare that a guy stinks in practice and is great in a game. And so you kind of knew what you had. But did you learn anything that maybe you didn't know over the last week playing exhibitions, or is it pretty much just emphasizing what you knew?
Well, I think the best part about both games, they were both pretty similar. New Mexico Highlands, I thought, played really, really well. Like, I thought we played better in the second game. You know, as a coach, you have to be able to block out, like, Twitter losses and Twitter victories and see the big picture. And there's this weird, and I certainly it's close to the home, where St. John's loses to a D2 team. People don't care that you have starters out. People don't care that you're not trying to reveal the playbook, and everybody gets outraged all the time. So it's just this weird dynamic moving in college basketball. But regardless of that, like, I thought it was great that we had some close games where we pulled away. Those were game experiences. Like Texas Southern was picked to win their league. St. Mary's was picked to win their league. So we're not going to go in and blow out teams. We have to know how to win. We have to feel the stress of the scoreboard a little bit. So both of them were good, and I thought we handled both really, really well. You look at last year's team. We probably make an NCAA tournament if we get 2 stops. If we get the stop for San Diego State when we were winning, and if we make the stop versus Nevada when we were winning, we're probably in the NCAA tournament. We didn't get that. I love the fact that we held New Mexico Highlands to 1 basket in the last 7-8 minutes, which is great. So we're bigger, which will help the defense, but sometimes it's got to be that personal accountability to get it done, and I did see that at times for sure.
He's Lobo men's basketball coach Richard Pitino with us for a few more minutes here on the Sports Animal.
That personal accountability you talk about when it comes to defense, is that going to be the biggest factor in determining what this year's squad can do?
Well, as I said before, like if you take a step back and look at our team over the first 2 years, certainly we have made amazing progress, but the offensive numbers have been really, really good. But the defensive numbers last year were poor. And so I've got to coach it better. We've got to recruit to it better. I think depth will certainly help. But the players have got to take that accountability to guard the basketball. And then when it goes by you, which it's going to go by you because the defense is at somewhat of a disadvantage, okay, are we going to go rotate and block shots like we were able to do? Are we going to get deflections like we're able to do? Maybe we'll press a little bit more, and maybe we'll, cause a little bit more chaos and havoc. Maybe we'll play a little bit more zone. I mean, I think at the end of the day, we have more options, and that'll help. But at the end of the day, as always, our defense it's about will, and it's about toughness, and it's about finishing that possession. And I think our guys understand that because we were so close to what everybody's trying to do last year. We just needed to be a little bit better.
All right, the opening week, Texas Southern. And, if people don't know about them, this is a team that's won their league multiple times over the last 4 or 5 years. They've been to the NCAA tournament 3-4 times over that span. This is a good program that's coming into the pit. And then you go to St. Mary's, who is ranked 23rd in the AP and the coaches' preseason poll, a NCAA team, a place that you went last year, probably your biggest win on the road last year, certainly out of league. It's a challenging and really interesting. I mean, you guys are jumping into the deep end right away.
Yeah, I kind of started my prep for Texas Southern yesterday. We had off, and I texted my assistants like, geez, these guys are good. What were we thinking? I mean, they've got a player of the year guy. They were picked to win their league. We're always trying, and I know scheduling, fans don't quite understand it. They want us to play Duke in North Carolina and Kentucky and Kansas in the pit. It's just not realistic. I wish it was. I mean, we reached out to a lot of schools, but we're always trying to play teams that win because we think we can get value as it pertains to quad 1s, 2s, 3s, and 4s. But also we feel like they make us better because, we're certainly trying to build this program into a championship program. We all want to compete for titles in the league. And in order to do that, you've got to play a schedule that every game in your non-conference will push you and test you. So although it may not be sexy with the Power 5 names, I think every coach that looks at our schedule and anyone who understands college basketball knows we're challenging ourselves right off the jump. And you look at St. Mary's, they were picked ahead of Gonzaga.
Yep.
We beat them. How hard is that going to be to beat them twice in a row at their place? It's going to be a great challenge. But you know what? It's going to perk up our guys early in the season, which is great.
All right, lastly, Bobby Knight passed away, and I know he's been failing health over the last bunch of years. Did you have any relationship with him? And I believe just in your profession, there's no way he didn't have some sort of an impact on you or your family.
Well, when I won the NIT my first year at Minnesota, Coach Knight was doing ESPN at the time. So we were in New York, and we played Florida State, and then we played SMU, Larry Brown. And so for those 4 days, I saw him at shoot-arounds or practices. He was extremely gracious. I know his tactics rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, but at the end of the day, he was one of the best basketball coaches to ever coach our game. It was amazing what he did at Indiana, Texas Tech. He obviously was a mentor to Coach K, one of the best coaches in the game. So I didn't know him all that well, I have so much respect for just the competitive nature of which he did this thing, because it's hard to win, and he won consistently for a long time.
Get started on Monday. Lobos and Texas Southern in the pit, then a trip to Moraga to play St. Mary's. Always appreciate the time and the conversation. We'll do it again soon. I'll see you on Monday. Richard, thanks for the time. Good luck this season, and we'll see you out there next week.
All right, thank you.
Be well. Richard Patino, the head men's basketball coach at the University of New Mexico. There's a ton in there, a ton in there, including the scheduling. And I know people looked at Texas Southern. I got thoughts on that. We got a sweet deal, and we're open for you now. At 505-246-0610, you can respond to anything he said. One of the things he said, I feel comfortable, paraphrasing, I could play any 12 scholarship guys, of the 12 scholarship guys, and feel comfortable. It's been a while since it's been that way around here. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610. The Sports Animal, your home for Sunday night, Monday night, and Thursday night football. This report.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight.
Boom! Boom!
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Rosendo Najar here, president of Carpenters Local 1319.
Juan Junior Gonzalez, warden of Local 1319. Some people have a misconception about what a carpenter does.
The carpentry trade entails more than just woodworking or building houses. We are responsible for 85% of a construction job site. Everything from the superintendent on down. We have a great apprenticeship program. Information can be found on our website.
These days, it's important to know people and businesses you can trust. There's a lot of places where you can buy a vehicle, but there's only a few local dealerships where you'll find honest people who have your best interests in mind. And Fiesta Kia is one of them. We've been helping our neighbors save money and drive dependable cars for years, and we'd love to help you. With new Kias arriving daily, you'll love our selection and the peace of mind you'll get driving a Kia from Fiesta. So stop by and see us today at Fiesta Kia on Lomas, or just start driving now at fiestakia.com.
For 50 years, Clark's Pet Emporium has been your pet's favorite stop.
I am Michael Azera, midfielder for New Mexico United. Clark's support for the United is an example of their commitment to local partnerships. Clark's understands that paying it forward develops a better team and ultimately better community partner.
When you need pet food and supplies,
Clark's is always the best shot.
Locally owned and operated with 2 convenient locations.
Go United!
ClarksPets.com.
All right, good stuff from Richard Pitino. As the Lobos open up the season on Monday against Texas Southern. So that Monday's really kind of the opening day for college basketball all across the country. And you're going to start seeing all the preseason tournaments. Did you see how the Aggies open up, by the way? You see where they're going? Just talked to a good friend yesterday. She says, "Are you coming down for the New Mexico State game against Middle Tennessee tomorrow?" I said, "No, I'm doing TV for the Lobo game." And Addie's got two more meets in her high school career, and then one we're going to Arizona, so 3. I said, "I'm not missing any. We got district championships this weekend. I'm not missing my kid as much as I like football." She said, "All right, well, I'm leaving for Lexington on Monday." I'm like, "Oh, that's right." Aggies open up at Rupp Arena. Don't look at me like that. Aggies open up at Rupp Arena on Monday. It'll be, I believe, at 6 o'clock our time on the SEC network. How about that? I mean, you want to jump in? Hey, coach, here's your new team and your new program, and all right, off season's over. Go play Kentucky. Just saying.
Get it.
They'll come back on Wednesday. They'll play Sul Ross State at the Pan Am, and then they're back on the road at UC Irvine next Saturday. They're going at boom, 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 let's go. And then they go to Cancun for their MTE. They will play Northern Colorado, Fresno State, and then either James Madison or Southern Illinois. That's a good trip. So we're in it, boys and girls. When are you going to Cancun? Aren't you going to Cancun with the ladies?
Potentially.
What do you mean potentially?
Stuff gets finalized.
Think you use local people down there? You're going to get the Cancun announcer? What?
That would be a great gig.
What, to be a local
be down
Cancun
there
guy?
and I'm the Cancun announcer for the tournament?
You know what, though? Honestly, it's not a bad idea. You call all those teams, say, "Hey, I'll tell you what, I'll be there." You just fly yourself down and say, "Give me $1,000 a game. I will call your games. You don't have to send your radio guy and spend all that money. $1,000 a game, one game covers you, and then you're making gravy and doing all the rest of those games and sending back all that stuff."
Yeah.
That's not a bad idea,
Do it.
dude. It's not a bad idea. Ladies open up with Texas Southern, and then JJ's going to Malibu. You're going to be in Malibu next Thursday?
Yes, I will be.
For the Pepperdine game. You may never come back. You may never come back. And then they'll be home for Tarleton and Texas A&M Commerce before going to Cancun Thanksgiving week for Montana State and Georgia Tech. All right, there were a lot of things in there. He talks about the depth, and then he talks about the injuries, and I think that's one of the reasons to have the depth. I tell you this a lot. When we sit here in November every year, it's, well, where's all the playing time coming from? Where's all the points coming from? How there's only one basketball. And then we hit January, and you're like, whoa, who's going to score, right? Injuries, defection, whatever. And I'm not wishing an injury or a defection on anybody. I'm going to tell you the natural course of a basketball season finds who rises to the top and where your playing time comes from. So, do you think? Now, they may have a little wider rotation than 8. I can see him having a 10-man rotation, especially in the first 2 months. Can't you?
I could. Especially with early in the season, you'd like to ramp up some of these guys. Jalen House, because he's been sitting out. Jamal Baker, it doesn't sound like it was anything other than load management for the second exhibition game, but it allowed Quentin Webb to get some run and opportunities, minutes. That in exhibition season, it's about gaining confidence. And you know the opponents you're playing. New Mexico Highlands, I think in the back of all those coaches' minds for the Lobos, they're like, thank you. Like, you gave us a good game. We had to really lock in and work on some stuff and come out of halftime with a different energy, finish that game in the last 7 minutes, which Coach Pitino addressed defensively, and you'll take it. And you should be really excited for the potential of this Lobo men's basketball team because of the options, but it's also something that Rich Pitino's not shying away from. If he has to tighten it up, if he feels that's what's best for his team, he's going to do that as well.
I think all that's right. But I look at a roster, and who's not playing? I mean, I guess it would be Forsling, but he's kind of your big off the bench, isn't he? Right?
No.
Is it Mzeal?
It's JT.
Yeah, that's probably right. No, you're right. After watching JT Toppin at 6'9" and the way he played for the first 2 games, you're right. All right, so if I said to you the 12 scholarship guys, and if there's only 12, that's the number that Richard said, which 2 might not play? I mean, Quentin Webb is as good as he was the other day, it would be Applehans, right? If I said two might not get a lot of playing time, would Applehans it'd be Applehans and Forsling that fall into that? As of now.
And probably Q.
And Quentin Webb would be 10. Because you're going to start Mash and Houseburn and Baker and Amzil and Nelly. Dent's playing. Dent's coming off the bench and playing, and you said Toppin's going to be your backup big. Mushila's going to play. And I don't know how you're keeping True Washington off the floor, the way he defended. Yeah, it's going to be.
I can actually see True Washington being used at the 3 at times in times, just for his size.
Because he's long, and depending on who the other 3 is, and because I think he's going to be in there to defend.
If they need shooting, Applehans can get a few minutes in the game, spelling Baker. If they want to run, if you run in House and Mashburn out there in the backcourt, then True Washington at the 3 for a few minutes.
Will we ever see 3? I think we will. 3 guard sets with House and Mashburn and Dent.
I'm sure.
Yeah,
the matchup presents itself.
There's got to be that.
And the one thing too is, and I had someone send me a really good message yesterday about Jalen House, and you get into the conversation about Jalen House versus Donovan Dent and what this team is going to look like. They brought up the reason. I know Coach Pitino talked about the defensive stops that they didn't get against San Diego State and Nevada, but then you also look at the games they dropped. Who was not in the lineup?
That's right. House was out. If Lamont Butler doesn't hit that shot for San Diego State in the pit, and boy, that Nevada game. Remember that Nevada game? How the ball that hung on the rim. They win those 2 games. You're right. I think he's right. They're in the NCAA tournament. I think he's right. Those were both tournament teams. They're in. That's how close they were. All right, when we come back, we're going to get into some NFL injury stuff, look at last night's game a little bit. I want your thoughts on Will Levis. We're open for you at 505-246-0610. I do have some correspondence from you on, we had a big conversation earlier about the sign-stealing situation at Michigan. I asked the question, what should be done and when? And we had some thoughts. You have some thoughts. We can continue that as well, and I'll read those to you. We got a sweet deal for you. And Lucas was going to be here, but he wasn't unable to make it, which means you don't get fed, by the way. I'm pretty sure is what that means to you guys. Firehouse Subs is today's sweet deal. So you go to our website, sportsanimalabq.com. You click on the sweet deal icon, and for just $25, you get $50 worth of gift certificates to use at any of the 5 Albuquerque Firehouse Subs locations and the one in Santa Fe. So that brings your options to 6. The sale starts at 9 o'clock this morning at sportsanimalabq.com. Firehouse Subs usually sells out in minutes. Don't wait on this one. And don't even wait for your sweet deal to arrive to go try the new pork and slaw sandwich. It's slow smoked pulled pork, melted pepper jack, sweet tangy slaw, mustard sauce, and mayo on a King's Hawaiian bun. The combination of the crunch and the tender pork is perfect. You can order online. You can pick it up at Firehouse Subs. You can order on the app, pick it up at the Rapid Rescue to Go station inside any of the 5 Firehouse Subs and the one in Santa Fe. Remember, it's Firehouse Subs. A portion of every purchase is used to provide life-saving equipment to first responders. They've saved lives, and many of them right here in New Mexico. Firehouse Subs, eat more subs, save more lives. It is our sweet deal. It's live on our website, 9 o'clock. Click on the sweet deal icon, sportsanimalabq.com.
Brought to you by Thomas.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in boot camp. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you. I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
Rosendo Najar here, president of Carpenters Local 1319.
Juan Junior Gonzalez, warden of Local 1319. Some people have a misconception about what a carpenter does.
The carpentry trade entails more than just woodworking or building houses. We are responsible for 85% of a construction job site. Everything from the superintendent on down. We have a great apprenticeship program. Information can be found on our website.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman! Boom! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight.
Boom! Boom!
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
Seriously? You expect me to drive while you aren't wearing seatbelts?
What's the worst that can happen?
Seriously? Buckle up.
Okay. Thank you.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
For your business or your home, Valley Fence stands alone. We're number one in New Mexico for a reason. It's the best fence you can own. Proudly serving New Mexico for over 50 years. At Valley Fence, the difference is clear. No fence too big, too small, or difficult. We handle them all at Valley Fence Company.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Here at Clark's Pets, we understand your pets. We take meticulous time to find out more about them. Dig deep into their world to understand their needs. We do research for knowledge of each pet, so you can trust Clark's Pets to provide you the best products and service for your pets, because we work hard to understand all of their needs. Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend.
For 50 years, Clark's Pet Emporium has been your pet's favorite stop.
I am Michael Azera, midfielder for New Mexico United. Clark's support for the United is an example of their commitment to local partnerships. Clark's understands that paying it forward develops a better team and ultimately better community partner.
When you need pet food and supplies,
Clark's is always the best shot.
Join him. All right, so I'm not sure what he's saying, because if you penalize the entire team at the end of the year, so the university, you hit them with a fine, lose TV money. So the people who are responsible for the infraction are not going to get penalized at all, right? We all believe Jim Harbaugh is going to be gone after this year and in the NFL, don't we? I mean, do you? I do. I think he's going to, have no choice, and B, he's going to want to go.
I think he's going to have no choice at the end of the year.
So they're going to. How about this? I got chased to make $10 million a year. In the end, I had no choice. They ran me out of Michigan into the NFL, where they're going to pay me $10, $11 million a year. That's going to be his penalty. All right,
Jim Harbaugh to the Raiders.
So to penalize Michigan after the fact, to penalize the university after the fact, is to penalize the athletes who are coming through in the next 3 to 4 years, however long the penalties last, right? And whomever it is who is responsible for what's going on goes on to the next gig and gets paid. Ryan says, so the weird part about this whole situation is that it would be so complex and nearly impossible to spot the signs and then signal into your defense and have it be effective in college football because they don't have the headsets and the helmets. Right. Have you thought about the intricacy of what's going on? So how are they using this? So they look over, they steal the signs from Illinois, Purdue, Wisconsin, Iowa. So they know what the play clock's going. It's a 40-second play clock. They know what's coming in. How are they getting that into their defense? There is no earpiece
with
in
their
helmet.
own signs.
So are they signaling them in, or are they running a dude in yelling, here's what they're doing?
So from what I've read, it's mostly about run or pass.
Yeah.
And
so is that's easy. All right.
Right. Yeah.
Peaches, that means pass. Raisins, that means runs. Yeah. Yeah. Portugal, Russia. Yeah.
Omaha.
Yeah, that means option.
Yeah, so that probably isn't helpful.
Where does it go? Where do you? The text line says banning him from college, for the college, it's for the rest of his life, would prevent anything like this from ever happening again. This is what you're saying, DC. This is where you're going. To your point, if you make it, because everybody's not going to be Jim Harbaugh, so you almost need to make this a double-edged discipline, don't you? You need to discipline Jim Harbaugh for doing what he's doing, but I think you also need to make it a discipline that is harsh enough that will make anybody who's thinking about doing this in the future or something like this go, damn, I don't want to do it. Because if it's, pick your college coach, man, there's very few who can fail upward like he will. Right? Who can get run out of college. Well, you're never coming back to college. That's cool. Bleep you. Watch me. I'm going to the NFL. I'm going to make $11 million a year. Right? Don't you feel that? And that's kind of where you've got to be going on this when you say it's got to be 15 years, 10 years.
Yeah, you have to make a point. You have to make it a thing. Just a year or two. We'll forget in a few years, but if it's a 10-year deal, 8 years from now we're still talking about it, and coaches moving forward are going to be thinking about it. So I think the impact of the longer sentence, if you will, is really what is going to impact coaches in the future. The lifetime ban idea, though, I mean, I'm not against that because for me, I look at him. It's probably not as much about the money. He's good on money.
Give a damn,
right?
But I do believe I firmly believe he loves Michigan.
So if you take that away from him, then you've really punished him.
And what would really punish him is if you got him out from this season, because there's a real chance he wins the national championship this year. That team's that good. And is he getting punished if you take it away afterwards? Oh, we're taking away the national title. If he's going to go through the CFP, and if they win and he's on the sideline and he gets everything he wanted, and he gets paid, then he pieces out. He goes to the NFL, and then the NCAA comes in and punishes the program and all those kids and all those people who are left behind, and he's the one who did it. He wins, and then he wins again. That's why I'm saying if this is all there, then take it away. If you want to take something away from him, if you want to hit Harbaugh, you got to hit him now. You've got to take away from him now, suspend him for the rest of the year. Say this happened under your watch, you're out. You don't get to coach this team through the CFP. Now, he'll have a job by next week with the Raiders or the Bears or whatever. But if you want to hit him now and hit the guy who you feel is responsible, then you can't wait till the end of the season. And that's, JJ, where Petitti, the commissioner of the Big Ten, has that option on the sportsmanship policy. All right. Are we going to have time in the next segment to do Red Zone, or you want to hold it till 9 o'clock?
We are starting to run short.
All right. We'll do Red Zone at 9 o'clock. 505-246-0610. If you want to get in on what Victor Wembanyama did yesterday, you want to get on Lobo football versus UNLV. It's a big college football weekend around here. Lobos and UNLV, Aggies and Middle Tennessee. Aggie fan, you can become bowl eligible this weekend. It is a big one down in Las Cruces. So we can get into some of the big college football stuff when we get back. Actually, not just off the field stuff in college football, but on the field stuff. Hey, now's not the time to take your home or business security for granted. International Protective Service watches my home, IPS. They come by every day. Officer Crespin's there every day. I was out of town this week, and they came by. They do exterior checks. There's an officer comes by, checks, make sure the front door's locked, the back door's locked, does exterior checks, make sure there's nothing crazy going on. And if your alarm goes off, they respond within 5 to 7 minutes. But not only do they provide standing guards and armed patrols, IPS also installs alarms, cameras to record criminal activity, and smart technology to control access to your facility. At IPS, they'll monitor your systems. And if they see something suspicious, they send someone to check it out. It's a winning combination to prevent you from being victimized. IPS's number is 505-897-2420, 505-897-2420, or they're online at ipsglobal.com, passionate about your security.
This report is sponsored by Blind.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready!
My coach. My teacher. My older sisters. My grandma. My brother. My tutor. My dad and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in boot camp. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you. I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
Rosendo Najar here, president of Carpenters Local 1319.
Juan Junior Gonzalez, warden of Local 1319. Some people have a misconception about what a carpenter does.
The carpentry trade entails more than just woodworking or building houses. We are responsible for 85% of a construction job site. Everything from the superintendent on down. We have a great apprenticeship program. Information can be found on our website.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us, and my wife, and our daughter, they didn't make it.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Evergard Roofing and Solar. For nearly 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been working with New Mexicans to enhance their homes and businesses. For all your roofing and solar needs in New Mexico, call 505-821-9543.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman!
Boom! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight.
Boom! Boom!
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us, and my wife, and our daughter, they didn't make it.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Just search KNML.
Steelers over the Titans, 20-16 last night. You heard it here on The Sports Animal, your home for Sunday night, Monday night, and Thursday night football. Thursday night football last night, Will Levis, 22 for 39 for the Titans in his second start. Looked good, looked like he belonged. Threw an interception with 6 seconds to go at the goal line. I mean, you want to see him finish it. I'm not going to sit here and praise him for throwing the interception. I'm going to praise him for the game he played. I thought he played well. They need to finish drives, but a young man playing in his second NFL game on Thursday night against that defense in that place, I thought played well. Not a great throw at the end. Maybe have one more, but again, 11 seconds to go. I got no timeouts. You're trying to force something. I don't hate it. I don't love it, obviously. You don't love an interception, but I thought the young man played well.
Will Levis has earned the opportunity to be the Titans starting quarterback the rest of the season. You know what you're getting with Ryan Tannehill. There's a ceiling that team has hit, and you want to see if you can get to another level or if you can inject some life into this offense, into this football team. And Will Levis is going to give you that. He's going to be up and down. He's a rookie quarterback, but the arm talent is effortless.
Crazy.
You have enough with a number one in DeAndre Hopkins, a running game in Derrick Henry, that you should be able to put him in a position to be successful, just like he was on the road at Pittsburgh in a game that was tight in the fourth quarter.
College football last night. Bowl-bound T-shirts went out to the Duke Blue Devils. They held on and beat Wake Forest 24-21. Dukies are 6-3. You know, they get once you get your sixth win, or in New Mexico's State's case, it would be 7. Bowl season, the Football Bowl Association sends you bowl-bound shirts. It's got your logo on it, and there's you've been watching on social media. They all get their bowl-bound shirts, and they jump around. They're going to a bowl game. So that's Duke is eligible. Texas Tech beat TCU last night in the Big 12, 35-28. And so there's no Friday. Yeah, there are Friday night games. I do get Friday night football tonight. Boston College Series. Oh, a big one in the Mountain West tonight, JJ. They call it the Border War. Colorado State's up in Laradice tonight. Wyoming's a 6.5 point favorite. Wyoming coming off that bouncing up at Boise. Big win for Boise State. Who do you like tonight? Cowboys favored by 6.5 at home over the Rams.
I think Wyoming bounces back. A very tough game. Boise State put them on them. And don't look now. Broncos are 3-1. Mountain West play, along with Fresno State.
And who do they play tomorrow? They play Fresno State tomorrow. Yep. I think the winner of the Fresno State-Boise State tomorrow. Well, I don't think. I know that they have the inside track to play Air Force in the conference championship game. Now, UNLV still got something to say about it. The loser of that game would have something to say about it. But that is a big, big game in the Mountain West. It's tomorrow night. It's one of the late games. Is it not a late game? Yeah. CBS Sportsnet, 8 o'clock tomorrow night. What do you think the line on Fresno State hosting Boise State is? Boise State's 4-4, 3-1. The Bulldogs were 7-1, 3-1. Their only loss was in Laramie. Boy, can you imagine if they won that game? I mean, we could have 2 undefeateds headed towards it. What do you think the line is?
Fresno State favored by 6.
Fresno State 3.5.
2.5. Yeah, I would have thought more your way. I thought it's a little more. Boise State has lost some really tight games this year. They lost on a last-second field goal at home to UCF, 18-16. They lost in the last minute to Memphis, 35-32. And they lost on that silly Hail Mary to Colorado State, 31-30.
Yep.
Right? I mean, honestly, they've lost at the gun. Like, you want to talk about getting kicked in the stones.
In fact, they even had the chance to throw a Hail Mary in that game.
Yeah. The Colorado State?
The Colorado State game.
Yeah. So they lost to Washington big to open up. Now, they beat North Dakota. They beat San Diego State by a field goal. They beat San Jose State, who I think San Jose State's a lot better than people think. and they beat Wyoming. By the way, that San Jose State team that came in here and was a 1-win team and people lost their mind about when they beat the Lobos, they're going to probably finish middle of the pack in this league. They're probably going to be a 6 to 7 win team. Right now, they're 3-2 in this league. They're 4-5 overall, and they're probably going to a bowl game. If they lose to Fresno State, they may not go to a bowl game. 4-5, they've got to find a way to either beat Fresno State or UNLV and San Diego State. So they got to win 2 of those last 3. Boy, they're going to be right on the cusp, aren't they? They're going to rue the game that got away at Toledo. That one. All right, when we come back, we're going in the red zone. Everything from throwback uniforms to the Cowboys and Eagles to schedules, and we're going to do a 3-for-all because we didn't do one last Friday. At least I didn't. So, if I didn't, we didn't. Y'all did, but we didn't. We did one on the show. So we'll do that. Your phone calls are welcome at 505-246-0610 as we hit the weekend. What's on your mind headed into the weekend? What's your biggest thing? There's fights this weekend in town. There's big football games. High school football playoffs get started. It's a big weekend. We're here for you on the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610. The Sports Animal. You're home for Sunday night and Monday night and Thursday night football.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Hi, I'm Steve Stucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
These days, it's important to know people and businesses you can trust. There's a lot of places where you can buy a vehicle, but there's only a few local dealerships where you'll find honest people who have your best interests in mind. And Fiesta Kia is one of them. We've been helping our neighbors save money and drive dependable cars for years, and we'd love to help you. With new Kias arriving daily, you'll love our selection and the peace of mind you'll get driving a Kia from Fiesta. So stop by and see us today at Fiesta Kia on Lomas, or just start driving now at fiestakia.com.
Here at Clark's Pets, we understand your pets. We take meticulous time to find out more about them. Dig deep into their world to understand their needs. We do research for knowledge of each pet, so you can trust Clark's Pets to provide you the best products and service for your pets, because we work hard to understand all of their needs. Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready!
My coach, my teacher, my older sisters, my grandma, my brother, my tutor, my dad, and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part,
so that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in Burquia. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you. I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your
Voted the best sports show in New Mexico for 5 years running. It's the OD in the AM with 3-time New Mexico Sportscaster of the Year, Jeff Symbieta and JJ Bach.
Your NFL week started last night here in the Sports Animal with the Steelers. 20-16 win over the Titans. Kenny Pickett won the touchdown pass. Threw it to Deontay Johnson. How about that? Your boy Deontay Johnson got in the end zone. Been like, I don't know, 14 years or something since he was in the end zone? Something along those lines? 27?
Been a minute.
Yeah, so big celebration there. Big ones this weekend. Eagles, Cowboys, Dolphins, and the Chiefs. I mean, they're big everywhere. Want to go in the red zone? Let's go in the red zone.
How much you want to make a bet I can throw a football over the mountains?
Are you crazy? I'm saying you're a football player.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to Tom Brady this game.
You're in the red zone with Jeff Symbieta and JJ Bach.
Let's go, baby!
It's first and goal.
All right, since we have so many big games this weekend, we're going to start with an easy one. We're going to talk about throwback jerseys. So the old school jerseys we've been seeing over the last few weeks have been pretty awesome, in my opinion. Personally, the throwback Oilers light blues have been my favorite by quite a bit, actually. So what do you guys think of these throwback jerseys, and which one is your favorite?
The Oilers and the Buccaneers, the creamsicles are like you almost go, why did they ever change? You know, you see some of them, like when I look at the old Patriots, what do they call him, Patrick Patriot or whatever the guy was, right? Why did you change out of that? Buccaneers, why did you go from that unbelievably cool creamsicle to the pewter and red, the Rams? Like, why did you go from that classic to that? But to me, the Oilers and the Bucks have been the best.
I think every team should have at least one throwback they use once a year and then mix it in with their new school alternates. I think it's just fantastic. I love the way it looks. It's fun for the fans, and plus it's revenue. It's money.
Well, didn't the Chargers current? They went because they loved the throwback. So remember, they went to the navy blues when Phillip Rivers was there, and they would break it back. They bring these out a couple times a year, and people are like, "What are you doing? Those throwbacks are so much better." And they have them, and I love the Cowboys blues. Like, I think the Cowboys blues that they never wear are one of the sharpest looks, but the Chargers blues with the white helmets and the yellow, that's the best uniform.
It's a great uniform. Yeah. One I saw last weekend, I like the Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah, they went back to the silver helmet one. Yeah.
Nice one as well.
Yeah.
The Eagles too, that old school Eagles.
Yeah, back to the Kelly Green. Yeah.
Second and goal.
Ready, down, put.
All right, the Seattle Seahawks are coming off a big win at home versus the Browns. This week, they visit the Baltimore Ravens, or they visit Baltimore to face off against the 6-2 Ravens. The Ravens are also coming off a win versus the Cardinals in Arizona. Both teams are leading their division now, but a loss from either team will put them into the wild card conversation. So looking at each team's schedule moving forward, who needs this win more, the Baltimore Ravens or the Seattle Seahawks?
I think it's the Seattle Seahawks. I think the Baltimore Ravens are a really good team. I think they're a better team than the Seattle Seahawks. And this would be an unbelievable win going cross country on the road at Baltimore. I'm going Seattle.
It's the right answer, because after this, they get the Commanders, the Seattle, and then they go in division. I think they beat the Rams, but they got a stretch after that where they go 49ers, Cowboys, 49ers, Eagles. And I think they need to bulk up. Plus, I don't think Geno's been playing that well. And I think he needs to find it. It's a tough place to find it against a tough team to find it. But I think the answer is Seattle needs the game more.
Third and goal.
All right, we'll fast forward to Sunday Night Football. Bills at the Bengals. The 5-3 Bills are visiting Cincinnati to face the suddenly hot 4-3 Bengals in a rematch of last year's final Monday Night Football game. If the Bills lose and the Jets win at home on Monday night, the Bills fall to third in the AFC East and out of the playoff picture. Is this a must-win for the Buffalo Bills? And what does the rest of the regular season look like for them if they do lose?
It is not a must-win, and I'm not even certain I'd put it in the category I kind of got to win game, although they kind of got to win this, because coming up after this, they get the Broncos and the Jets, but then they go Eagles, Chiefs, Cowboys, right? So they've got to get this thing straight, and whether or not they'll tell you that it's in their, they're going to make the playoffs. I firmly believe they will make the playoffs. I think the roster's too good. I think the quarterback's too good. They will win enough games, especially coming down the stretch. I think they will win games. It's a borderline kind of got to win game to me, but it's not a must win.
I don't think it's a must-win game for either team. I think they're both playoff teams. It's whoever does win keeps hopes alive at a number one seed. And that's going to be really hard right now when you look at 3 teams with 6-2 records. However, 2 of those teams do play each other in Kansas City and Miami. Because even with the bumps in the road, Josh Allen's still really good. The Bills are going to win games down the stretch. Don't overreact or panic with anything with Joe Burrow. So I think this is a fantastic football game. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch, but I don't think it pushes whoever loses in the wrong direction.
4th and goal.
Did I stutter? Bear me.
All right, yesterday we looked at the schedules for the Cowboys and Eagles, then broke down the rest of the season for the NFC East. Today, let's focus on the game this Sunday. I want one of you guys to take the Eagles, the other takes the Cowboys. Then I want you to tell me the keys to victory for that team and why they will win on Sunday.
Who do you want?
I think you're up first, right? I'll take the Eagles. I mean, I think the keys to victory, their defense is better. They're going to make Dak Prescott uncomfortable, and I think they saw enough last week that they say, all right, we're going to take CD Lamb away from you and make you beat us trying to run the football, and you're not going to beat us with that guy defensively. There's enough offensive firepower there. I'm not worried. Everybody tells me the Cowboys defense is great. Yeah, they're great against really, really, really bad teams. I don't think that they're great against teams that have firepower. And so I'm going to be able, if I'm the Eagles, I know I can run the ball. I've got enough weapons, Jalen Hurts, and I'm going to make Dak uncomfortable and take away CeeDee Lamb. That's how I'm going to beat you.
Well, it would be nice to see the Eagles take away someone because I just watched Sam Howell throw 400 yards on him last week.
He did. Yeah, he did.
So I'm not that confident.
Everybody. Yeah.
I'm taking away Tony Pollard. Yeah, that dude has not been a focal point. They have not been efficient on the ground. So putting the game on the shoulders of Dak Prescott, though, I'll take my chances if I'm the Eagles. But for the Dallas Cowboys to win the game, they have to keep converting turnovers. Jalen Hurts has turned the football over. He's on a streak of, they are lucky. They are last in the NFL in terms of points off of turnovers against them. The amount of times they've turned the football over, teams have only scored 15 points. It's a credit now to the Eagles defense.
And the Cowboys force them.
The Cowboys, they score points off turnovers. Yep. They get pick sixes. For Dallas to win this game, it's turning over Jalen Hurts and converting that into touchdowns.
Who you got? Who's going to win the game?
That is a great question. I am tell you the truth right now.
Good idea.
Well, yeah, you're the best. There's a reason you are the what do they say? The top sports analyst or something?
I don't know who they are.
Yeah. Either way, I like the Dallas Cowboys right now.
Do you really?
I do. I'm starting to get more faith in Dak, and I think that team is coming together at the right time.
Who do you like?
Eagles at home.
I do too. Yeah, I do too.
I've been to an Eagles Cowboys game in Philly. It is wild out there. But Dak actually brought that up. He said it's kind of like walking into an SEC game, and he seemed actually somewhat excited about that.
No, but he is. Yeah, Philly. I've not been to a game in Philly. My daughter went to a Phillies game this summer. Said it was unbelievable. Watching the Phillies games in the playoffs looks silly.
Their fans are just wild.
Yeah, no, Philly. Is Philly the best sports town in America?
There's a strong case to be made for that, for sure.
If I ask you, I know what I think. I've always thought this, and I've got kind of a top 5. But what do you think the best sports town in America is? I've always said Chicago. They love the Blackhawks. They love the Bulls. They love the Cubs. They live by that stuff, man.
Especially when you have 2 pro baseball teams, and you have the Bulls that won 6 championships. Blackhawks went on.
I've always thought Chicago, but I always have also thought Boston, Philly, Detroit, and I'll even throw Denver in there. But I just don't know. Denver feels like a step back. But Boston, Philly, and Detroit have always kind of been there for me too.
Well, Boston makes perfect sense because their run over the last 25 years has been insane in all sports.
Right, but even when they were crummy, they went out and like they always loved the Celtics, the Bruins. And the Patriots and Red Sox weren't great until the last 25 years. You got a thought on best sports town in America?
I think you go to towns that have multiple options that support them, and any of the big ones that we see from the Midwest, Chicago, Detroit, Pittsburgh, New York.
Cold weather, huh? Oh, where there's nothing else. No, I'm kidding.
Nothing else to do.
What's the best warm weather sports town? Is it Dallas?
Dallas is interesting. Miami kind of stands out.
Is Miami a great sports town, though? Look at Marlins games. I mean, does anybody go? No. Panthers, nobody went until... I don't even think people knew they were in the Stanley Cup final last year. I mean, they got great... they've had history there. I don't know that I think it's a great sports town.
What... How warm were we talking? Does it have to be Florida?
It doesn't have to be like frigid cold. Like what
about San Francisco?
It's good. It's a good one. San Francisco's a good sports town. Yeah. All right, 505-246-0610. When we come back, we're going 3 for all. I'm going to show you how hard it is to bet because we're not good at it. We're just picking 3 games. There's no, hey, pick this game, pick that. No. Go to BetMGM and take 3 bets off of the NFL board for Sunday. And show you how bad we are because we're really bad. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the sports animal. Your home for Sunday night and Monday night and Thursday night football. Hey, the cold winter weather is kind of made an appearance, huh? It's going to be here for a while, and it is not good to your vehicle. Give your car the protection it needs and get a visit from On the Spot Automotive Detailing. I recommend it because I use them, right? I recommend it because I know how good they are. I recommend them because they're terrific and the results are great. And not only do they offer great detailing services, but their ceramic coating and paint protection film works like magic. No more mud, no more dirt, no more water stains. Their protective layering helps prevent UV oxidation damage to your car's paint. And with an opportunity to get a lifetime warranty, you can't go wrong. On the Spot Detailing also offers window tint services for your vehicle. They do it where it's convenient for you, when it's convenient for you. Hence, On the Spot. They come to you. Call them, set it up when it works for you, where it works for you, and they will come out. And by the way, in gift giving season, it is a great gift. Visit otsdetailing.com for more information. That's otsdetailing.com.
Come to the UNM Howl Zone.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Hi, I'm Steve Stucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
These days, it's important to know people and businesses you can trust. There's a lot of places where you can buy a vehicle, but there's only a few local dealerships where you'll find honest people who have your best interests in mind. And Fiesta Kia is one of them. We've been helping our neighbors save money and drive dependable cars for years, and we'd love to help you. With new Kias arriving daily, you'll love our selection and the peace of mind you'll get driving a Kia from Fiesta. So stop by and see us today at Fiesta Kia on Lomas, or just start driving now at fiestakia.com.
Here at Clark's Pets, we understand your pets. We take meticulous time to find out more about them. Dig deep into their world to understand their needs. We do research for knowledge of each pet, so you can trust Clark's Pets to provide you the best products and service for your pets. because we work hard to understand all of their needs. Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready!
My coach, my teacher, my older sisters, my grandma, my brother, my tutor, my dad, and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in Burquia. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you. I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
Rosendo Najar here, president of Carpenters Local 1319.
Juan Junior Gonzalez, warden of Local 1319. Some people have a misconception about what a carpenter does.
The carpentering trade entails more than just woodworking or building houses. We are responsible for 85% of a construction job site. Everything from the superintendent on down. We have a great apprenticeship program. Information can be found on our website.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
What do we have on Wednesday? Something I really liked. What was Wednesday? Oh, Barry Odom, the UNLV coach, was Wednesday. All of our stuff is there. Go take a listen. Really good content this week, as I like to believe, we normally have really good content. All right. Let's do 3 for all. So how did we do me last week? You just give me 3 losses, or you saying I didn't play? Because I didn't play.
Well, you just didn't play.
All right.
We'll factor into the winning percentage in this season.
JJ goes 9-11 coming into the week. I'm 8-6, and DC's got bonus losses at 7-14-1. It's your record. What?
That's great.
What?
Oh, that's
That's your record,
that's
right?
great.
Yeah.
That
I mean,
is
it's
my
not
record.
great, but that's your record.
I own it. I own it.
It's better because you were
Josh
like
McDaniels
you
over
were
here.
like 0-6 for a while, weren't you? You're on a little roll.
I think I started out 1-8.
Yeah, really, really not good.
It's on fire.
Yeah, I was on fire.
You're on a roll
for sure.
All right, so we go to BetMGM. We take the odds there, and whatever. Just 3 bets on the board. What do you like? Over unders? Do you like spreads? What do you like? JJ, you go first. What do you like? What's your first pick? I can have someone else go first if you want.
I was looking. I'm like, I was just had it in my mind. I'm going Browns -7.
Browns -7. Is it only 7? I see 8.5. What do you
I'm on sports.betmgm.com.
Really? What do you see for the Browns game?
8.5.
I see 8.5.
Okay, so I guess I'm going to have to go with 8.5.
All right, so you got Cleveland -8.5 versus Arizona. I'm going to take Seattle getting 6 at Baltimore. I think they lose the game, but I think it's close. Seattle going across the country and playing at Baltimore. I'll take the Seahawks +6.
I am going to take the Miami Dolphins +1.5 at Kansas City in Germany, mostly because Vic Fangio. He's played them a lot. He knows how to play them, and I think he's going to go in ready to make a statement.
All right. My second one is the Browns. I'm laying 8.5. I got the. I just if Clayton Tune's getting the start, his first start is going to be on the road in Cleveland in the cold against that defense. I think it could get ugly, man. So I'll take the Browns and I'll lay the 8.5.
All right, I am going to take the Colts minus 2.5 at Carolina Panthers. They've been putting up a ton of points, and I think they're going to keep doing that.
All right, what's your second one?
I'll go the opposite way. Give me the Baltimore Ravens at home. Lamar Jackson loves to feast on NFC teams. And that was that 5.5?
6.
Or 6 now?
Yeah, it's at 6. Is that what you see it at 6? The Seattle.
I'm on the wrong page. So.
What do you see Seattle and the
6.
Ravens at? All right.
Yep.
All right. What's your third, DC?
I'm going to take the Raiders minus 1.5 versus the New York Giants. I think the interim head coach starts out 1-0.
What do you got?
What is the over-under on Dallas, Philadelphia showing up on the right page?
47.
I'll take the under.
What did you have it? What's it on your page?
46.
Yeah, he's
So
on.
I have like a day off or
he's
something.
on a different page than you are. All right, so you went under 47, Dallas and Philadelphia. I'm taking the Raiders too. Raiders minus 1.5 against. I just think there's a motivation this week. I think sometimes it just feels like none of those guys liked Josh McDaniel. I think. I mean, I'm playing against Devontae Adams in one of my fantasy leagues this week, but I think whatever the over is on him, I think they're going to just find a way to feed him the damn ball. He is going to eat, and I think they beat the Giants this week. All right.
How bad do you feel?
Really bad.
If you are the New York Giants and you are underdogs to that team with Aiden O'Connell, with Antonio Pierce, and you're going in there underdogs.
Let me tell you this. I don't feel any worse than I felt when I walked off the damn field last Sunday. I mean, how can they not be? Did you see them urinate themselves in front of the
fact that Daniel Jones is supposed to be their quarterback?
Well, Daniel Jones coming back this week, right?
Yes.
I picked him up, by the way.
You picked him up and you don't trust him.
I don't. I forgot about that.
You picked him up off the ground, helped him up or something? You surely did put him on your roster, right?
Well, I mean, dude, it's a 2-quarterback league, and if you look
There's
at
a lot of quarterbacks out
quarterback
this week.
issues are this week.
Yeah, I forget.
Do you want-
Quarterback league.
Do you want him or all right? I'll make the move right now. I'll listen to your guys' advice. Jordan Love or Daniel Jones right now. Who should I play?
Daniel Jones.
You had me pick up Gardner Minshew.
Of course.
I mean, where would you go with that?
Oh, I'd take out a coin and flip it.
All right.
You know, honestly, I kind of tend towards Jones because Love has looked so bad, but I don't have any faith in him at all.
I mean, I'll tell you who else is left, but there's nobody there.
Who else is left?
I'm going to find out, man. I mean, I'll make the move right now. I don't care. So, I didn't even put him in my lineup. I got Minshew. So it's a 2-quarterback league, and so that means like everybody's gone. Okay.
Yeah, and this is a week. So you think about it. Kirk Cousins just got hurt. Kyler Murray may or may not be back. Matthew Stafford is questionable. Deshaun Watson is questionable.
This might be the answer, though. All right. So here's what's on the waiver wire right now. Levis, they already played. Jordan Love, Mac Jones. Mac Jones against Washington. Jaron Hall, Taylor Heineke, Zach Wilson, Tyson Bagent, Clayton Tune.
Heineke might be interesting. He's got good weapons. He's got some time in the league. There are worse options out there.
Are there?
Those are all the worst options.
I mean,
that's what's on the board, dude. Is Mac Jones better than Daniel Jones?
I would take Heineke over both those guys.
Really?
Yeah.
What's the over-under in that game? How did none of us take the under in that game? The Falcons-Vikings, it's 37. That's going under that, isn't it? How did none of us take the under in that game? Who's scoring points there? Tyler Heineke making his first start against Jalen who?
Well, because I went the under last week with Atlanta and Tennessee, and they blew past that.
Did they?
When Lil Levis is like, hey, I'm going to go out here and throw 4 touchdowns.
I picked up the Falcons defense this week to go after a rookie quarterback.
That makes sense. I could definitely see that at home.
All right, so what are you guys telling me? Mac Jones or so pick, give me 2 out of the 3. Minshew, Mac Jones, Daniel Jones. Jordan Love. Give me two. Who are you playing?
Minshew and Heineke.
You like Heineke that much?
I mean, we are talking about bottom of the barrel here. So
I get
Minshew
it,
and
man.
Daniel Jones.
That's where I live
That's where
right
I'm-
now. Yeah, that's where I am
where
right now. Minshew. Yeah, that's where I am.
Do you remember a few years ago when they, I think it was one of the beer companies, I can't remember which one, put it out there that if you took Minshew in the first round, they'd give you beer for a year?
Yes. If you like with the first overall pick or with the first, yeah, I totally do.
I mean, he's that good time kind of guy that I just kind of like him, so I'm pulling for him. But
ESPN's quarterback rankings this week: 19 Daniel Jones, 20 Mac Jones, 21 Tyler Heineke.
Those are the worst.
Yeah, that's
when you're like, oh, what do I do?
That's
and then
where I'm living right
you
now.
go to the rankings and they're like right beside each
And
other.
they
and
all
it's like,
in the bottom of the barrel, like, yeah, dude, like, why are you looking at this? You stink.
I know.
Yeah, your season's over. What are you doing?
Well, but it's bye week and dudes are hurt. All right, CBS's rankings.
Yes. You got to think Trevor Lawrence, Jared Goff, Brock Purdy, Russell Wilson, playable quarterbacks, all have a bye.
All right, CBS, Jordan Love 15, Mac Jones 16, Daniel Jones 19, Heineke 20. They got Love over all of them. Where did ESPN have Love? Dude, 12.
I think that says more about the Rams defense than it does the Packers offense.
Well, but you're playing fantasy football.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know, man. This is a mess. All right, when we come back, I'm gonna open this up, and I need your help on a Friday on this. Okay, as you sit there and you listen in your car, when you meet a coach, okay, a high school coach, a college coach, a pro coach, do you address him as coach or her, or do you use their first name? And I say that because I was brought up in this business. A gentleman who's my mentor, a guy named Phil Stone, back in the day said, you always, when you're interviewing, when you're talking to coaches, call them by their first name. It's a respect thing. It's a mutual respect thing. You're on the same level as they are. It's not Mr. President, Mr. Coach, sir. But I know that there's varying opinions on that. And I've done it. I mean, I don't know. I've been in this business for 30 something years now. Right. And so I don't know that I'm going to change, but when you hear someone in the media, radio guy, TV guy, somebody, and talk to Richard Pitino and call him Richard as opposed to coach, does it bother you? Have you ever thought about it? It was just brought up this week. I'm not going to necessarily say, the context, but it was brought up. Does it bother you? How should one address a coach? Because it's not disrespectful. Just your thoughts, and I want to talk through this a little bit. On the opening drive, on 95.9 FM at AM 610, the sports animal, your home for Sunday night, Monday night, and Thursday night football.
Come to the UNM Howl Zone. 3.5.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready!
My coach, my teacher, my older sisters, my grandma, my brother, my tutor, my dad, and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
Hi, I'm Steve Stunker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
If you're drunk, blasted, intoxicated, rip, plastered, taint, destroyed, bruh. If you're like this, you shouldn't be driving.
We here at Clark's Pet Emporium welcome you to bring in your pets. We know that having your pet with you makes the experience of shopping for them even better. And we welcome you to bring your kids also. Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend.
The Sports Animal.
Titans, Steelers last night started off your week. Steelers were winners 20-16. Big one in the Mountain West tonight in Laradice. I wonder what the weather's going to be. Wyoming and Colorado State. The border war, JJ Buck. Big one for the Cowboys, even bigger for Colorado State as they try to find a way to get bowl eligible. The weather in Laradice tonight at kickoff. They're kicking off at about 8 o'clock tonight. Not that bad. Low tonight, 30. It's 53. Low of 30. It could be a lot worse in Laramie on November 3, huh? It could be a lot worse. All right, I have a quick conversation. And if you guys have thoughts, please send them. 505-246-0610. That's the text line. That is the phone line. And the email, jeff@sportsanimalabq.com. I think if you played for someone, you always call them coach, right? If you ran into your old high school coach, you would call them coach. When I was coming up in the business in San Diego, Phil Stone, who was at NBC Sports and was a local sports guy there, he was kind of my guy, my mentor. And I remember we were sitting at spring training in Yuma, Arizona one year. And he said, he did an interview with, I want to say it was Jack McKeon, who was the manager of the Padres at the time. And afterwards, he said, you notice how I call him Jack. I don't call him Skip. I don't call him manager. He says, as you go up on this thing, he says, one thing I noticed. Now, this is a different era, and I understand that. He says, you get respect. You look a guy in the eye, and you call him by his first name. You're on the same level as him. You as a reporter, as a media guy, as an anchor, as a radio host, whatever, you're at the same place. And I've always, JJ, whether it was Rocky Long or Fran Fraschilla or Dennis Franchione or whoever, I've always referred to coaches by their first name. And we've had some conversations over the last week or two about is that the right way to do things? And I know I've suggested that to you.
The very inside the biz conversation.
It is, but so I bring this outside a little bit because as listeners, when you hear something, is it ever like if you were to meet Danny Gonzalez, is it just respect you would call him coach, or out of respect would you call him Danny? Or would you call him however you were introduced to him? And I don't know that there's an absolute answer on this. And some coaches probably demand that you call them coach. Some probably say, please just call me by my first name. I don't know. I got a text line that says, to me, coach is a name you call your coach. It's respected by former and current players. Some people prefer to be called coach. Coach Prime is an example. That's an interesting one. Like if Dion was sitting here, I'd have a problem. I don't know. I'd feel more comfortable calling him Dion than I would call him Coach Prime. That's just me.
There is something to be said about your coach versus someone else's coach.
Right.
I definitely, I can hear that.
Yeah. I don't know. Is coach, I mean, you said something to me earlier, like doctor, you always call him doctor. Right?
Correct. Yeah.
But he's your doctor. Now, if you've got a buddy who's a doctor or an acquaintance who's a doctor and you're having a conversation, do you call them by their first name or do you call them doctor whatever? Even though they're not your doctor, you've never been in their office.
I generally call all doctors doctor until they tell me otherwise.
Okay.
I worked very hard for that title. And same with coach.
Yeah.
No one walks in the door and day one, I'm head coach.
Yeah, I can see that analogy.
If you have 10 years in, much like a doctor in their residency, they've earned that. So I tend to go with the title until I'm told otherwise. However, I have done a lot of radio with coaches, and some very much are saying, no, this is my name and that's what you'll call me.
Yeah.
And they like to be regular guys. So I think it does vary a little bit. Also, you know, with Coach Pitino, he and I are within 3 weeks of each other in age. So that's one that's interesting.
So is it an age thing?
It might be a little bit.
So look, I've been in this business 30 something years, but I always did that. Right. And just because it was even way fresher in my mind when I was just coming up, and I've made it this long and I've never, ever once had a problem with someone saying, hey, call me coach, or have someone say, hey, call him coach or call her coach. So I've always done it my way and it's always worked for me. But it just came up this week and I was just wondering, I wonder if that's just not right. And by the way, has it changed? I mean, there were words that I could use 30 years ago that I can't use now, right?
Yes.
No, I'm just saying.
That is correct.
I mean, there is an evolution. I'm willing to accept that. And by no means am I looking to be disrespectful. And you know, when I was brought up, I remember Phil telling me, it's just, you know, you'll respect them more and they'll respect you more if you look them in the eye and call them by their first name. So anyway, just your thoughts on it. It's not a huge thing. And like Jay just said, it's kind of a behind the curtain inside thing, but just, it was something that came up in conversation this week and was curious if as listeners, it's something that you ever thought about.
You know, it's funny. This was a few weeks ago, and this kind of came up where one of the coaches said, I'm not coach whatever, I'm just Nick or something. I can't think of who it was offhand, but yeah, I think there is an evolution where some guys want to be normal guys and, hey, I'm just, call me what I am or, you know, what my parents name me. And other guys are very formal and I've worked for this position. You'll call me coach until you've earned otherwise.
Well, and I think, you know, a lot of coaches, especially around here, you get real familiar with, and I feel like I've got, you know, outside of this professional relationship with a lot of coaches too. Right? I mean, like if we're playing golf, should I call him coach? Honestly.
If you're on the golf course calling a guy coach, it's probably pretty awkward.
Right? So, I mean, at that point, if I play golf with you, are we good? Or like, can I call you by your first name or
sort of earlier in the interview, you gave the full title men's head basketball coach followed by the name. I think at that point, then the first name is acceptable.
All right. Anyway, just thoughts. 505-246-0610. Edward, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. How you living?
I'm living like it's Thanksgiving,
Attaboy,
even though we're a few weeks away.
Yeah.
Hey, there's a social decorum to address your topic that we grew up in that I think has since dissipated. But I think in general, if you're at a pure level with an individual, I think it's decorum to, if there's comfort and acknowledgement that you use the first name. But it just depends on the social setting, and I think it constantly evolves, to your point. So, interesting conversation. It's a good topic. Hey, you remember when the Crusher used to do the 5-star picks?
Nope.
And used to pick at probably 52 to 55% accuracy, and people would come in and critique, and I'd say, okay, well then you guys try it.
Yeah, it's hard, man.
Not you guys, not you three, but callers, and I used to put money in the pockets of people in the greater city of Albuquerque.
Yeah.
52 to 55% over like a 5 to 7 year span.
Makes you money.
So I think in Vegas, if you pick in the mid-50s, you're considered a professional bookie. So just food for thought over the weekend.
It's hard, man. It is hard.
Speaking of hard, I've referenced this a couple of times. In the NFL, I counted 16 teams are currently with their backup quarterback. Yeah. 16 at the league. And 3 of the teams are on their third quarterback, including Danny DeVito that played the other day. That's funny. I made it funny. Clean my dishes, please. Great slate for the NFL. Great slate for the NFL this weekend. I think the Chiefs are going to. I think the Dolphins are going to have something for the Chiefs. I think, Taylor Swift's boyfriend's a little distracted. He wants to be a celebrity, and we'll see how that plays out. Great player, great slot receiver, one of the best slot receivers in the history of the league. But I think the Bills-Bengals game I think the Bengals are going to clean house at home. And then I think the Cowboys-Eagles, when I said the other day the winner of that game, I think if the Cowboys lose, they're 2.5 games behind. It's going to be tough to make that up. That's why I said the winner of this game probably likely will win the division. So I think the Eagles are going to cover.
Likely?
Say this with me, Jeff and JJ. It's hard to win in the NFL. Yeah. Jalen Hurts has won 23 of his last 25 starts in the NFL in the regular season.
Pretty good.
I want you to say that out loud. Yeah. 23 of his last 25 starts. That's amazing. Harbaugh's going to win the national title and walk off and go take the Chargers job and probably be in the AFC title game within 3 years.
You think the Chargers job? That's the one you like, huh? Chargers?
I do.
Okay.
And with their great uniforms. But guys, regarding Harbaugh, and I tell people in your family, in your relationships, in your business, the more you know, the more you probably don't want to know. Right? So I don't know what to make of that. But my son's going to the K-State game at Texas. I think that's going to be a thriller. And I'm looking forward to the weekend. So
enjoy it.
I hope you gentlemen have a great weekend.
Right,
thanks for letting me share a few thoughts.
No, see you. It's hard, man. He used to do those picks and whatever. I wasn't keeping track. He was 50-something%. We ain't close to that. I'll tell you that right now. Hello, Terry. You're on the Sports Animal. Good day, sir.
Good Friday, everyone. Thoughts and hugs to Addie, Austin, Jack, and all family members. Hope you all have a great, safe weekend. I'm going back. I waited a day. Bob Knight, the most undisciplined disciplinarian ever, was a great basketball coach. Part of his positives were win, loved by his players. Some of behind the scenes, Landon Turner, former player that was paralyzed, he did a lot for him. Negatives, temper, attitude, always angry. The one thing that really pushed me was his either press conference or interview about women and being sexually assaulted. That was pretty sick. So, sometimes you do it. But I understand people back there in Indiana being loyal and whatnot. So about him coming to UNM, I don't think there was any snowball's chance in hell he was coming here. I think he was just playing Indiana up. So that was kind of late 80s, and then we wound up, UNM got Dave Bliss to come here. But, from that standpoint, he was under the wire. Maybe you don't choke your players and all that. But
maybe not.
Thanks, go on.
I mean, just a suggestion. Maybe you don't.
Yeah, just a suggestion.
You got an idea.
But once they showed the film, they had one of the players say, no, I never saw him do that. And once the film was shown, the player was 3 feet away. He was standing right next to him, watching him do it, and said, no, I never saw him do that. So it's just stuff. So if you're back there and he was, godlike to the people in Indiana and did great things, he overlooked stuff. But there's a few things there that are kind of bad. Lighthearted way, they post on for pickleball. If you're too poor for golf and too old for tennis, play pickleball. Yeah. And maybe have a crossover. Maybe have Miss Blackwell come in and do one of the pick threes.
That's a good point. We need to find her again because she was great. Yeah. Yeah. My wife plays. She's in the very old group. She'll say, "Shut up! Don't call me old." But I just say when Miss Blackwell's going to do a teaching thing, let me know. Maybe I need to come support you and watch that. I'll bet you will.
Yeah,
right. That's big.
You guys have a great weekend. Be safe. Always enjoy the show. Take care.
Thanks. Yeah, I'll bet you'll a lot of help on that. All right, text line on the coach conversation. I would call Coach Gonzalez exactly that. I'm a former athlete, so it comes naturally. On top of that, I still call all my childhood coaches coach. So I see that. I'm not going to lie. So I run into, and I coached middle school and AAU basketball for a while, and I still run into some of these now young men.
You're their coach.
And they coach, right? And I get that one. That's good. This is a good question. Better basketball player, Yao Ming or Victor Wembanyama? Well, I think Victor Wembanyama is going to end up being a better basketball player because I think he's going to be able to do more things. Yeah, it's good. It's good.
Yeah,
right?
and I think Yao had some unfortunate big dude, got some foot injuries, but his time,
he was
like
terrific.
that flash in the pan, like how close those Houston Rockets teams with Tracy McGrady and Yao Ming. Because anytime you get Shaq's attention, I'm gonna give you credit. Yao Ming got Shaq's attention on the basketball
That's
court.
right. No, that's fair. No, don't downplay it.
Yao was strong.
The further
too.
we get away from it, people remember less, right? People. That's why we don't have these conversations. Like, you see some of the Wilt stuff and his numbers. Like when we have these conversations, who is the best player ever? Like how Wilt isn't in that conversation all the time, but because none of us saw him, right? Well, if I didn't see it, it couldn't have been that damn good. So. This says Edward with the revisionist history. I remember he was around 45% for the season. Would start the season near the Mendoza line, then pick layup games week 10 through 17. I don't know what a layup game is, man. Find me some layups.
Yeah, I'll take some layups.
I need some layups.
I need them the most, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, when we come back, we'll wrap it up for you. Get ready for the weekend. Everything you need to know, what people are going to be talking about today as we go through this day and into the weekend. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610. The Sports Animal, your home for Sunday night and Monday night and Thursday night football.
This is Boomer Esiason with CBS.
It's a fake. They have a man. It's a conversion on the fake. It's complete out wide to the big tight end, David Butler. And it's a Rams first down. It's tough. I'll say he stepped out of bounds at the 15. Right back to it, and he is in. Touchdown for Charles Lopez Burton.
Rivas has some time. Josiah Mitchell, it's intercepted! Touchdown! It'll go the distance, and Jared Meechan.
Bunch formation to the left. Cabrera, the handoff. Cabrera's got some room. Up the middle of the 45-40. Foot race to the end zone. Cabrera trying to outrace the Matador secondary. Dash drug down, touchdown, I believe. That'll be a 70-yard touchdown run, and it is. Cabrera
Right alongside. We expect to be a low-scoring game. Garcia has a lot of speed. Garcia is gone. Nobody gonna catch him. Touchdown Vikings. Daniel Garcia with breakaway speed.
Yeah.
Brandon Olivas, see if he can get the same sort of magic. This time he looks to his right first, then he's looking to his left. He's going to bomb this out there for Moorhead again! Jahari Moorhead! My goodness!
Kyle Evan Huss back to work on the option. He'll flip it out. Big time hole there. See you later. One play and to the house for Malachi Gutierrez. Hanson rolling. Pressure. It's coming from the side now. He's rolling. Goes down the field. Open man. Touchdown. Elijah Hanson connects.
And that will be blocked up front, picked up, and I think we've got ourselves a return for a touchdown. Jace Hender.
The hash. Man, Posta may score. Post still on his feet. Dragging a tackle to the end zone, dives in, touchdown, I believe. Let's see, touchdown. That has to be a touchdown.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
O'clock out at University Stadium. Get yourself out there. JJ will have the pregame show with Nedward Abraham James over on News Radio KKOB starting at 3, kickoff at 4. If for some reason you cannot get there and want to watch it, I will have the call with George Carter on the Mountain West Network. Go to the MW.com, just click on watch, and it's all right there for you. It's that easy. Aggies play tomorrow down in Las Cruces to get bowl eligible. Middle Tennessee is there. Aggies have won 5 in a row. I believe them to be 3.5-point favorites. A big one for New Mexico State. Victor Wembanyama scored 38 points last night. Spurs beat the Suns 132-121. And James Harden is now the system. He doesn't play in a system. He is.
I am the system.
What on earth? That's what's going on. 505-246-0610. Will the real Slim Grady please stand up? Please stand up. Please stand up. Hello, Grady.
Mediocre sports bettors.
Yeah, not even.
In the AM. What's happening?
Mediocre would be quite an upgrade.
Hey, I'm going to channel my inner crusher real quick.
Yeah, okay then.
Let me cover a few things. Hey, I want to touch base on the Harbaugh thing, and it's really more of a, why are you going to punish the kids in the institution versus punishing the person who perpetrated it. Well, I agree with my man Delroy Copperpot when he talked about you want to make the punishment so severe where folks think twice about it. I don't have a problem with punishing the institution because you want to make them think twice about bringing someone on just for wins. You want to make the institution find out, do a little digging and make sure that they're bringing in someone that's not going to disgrace them for years to come. So, hey, punish them both. Now that's where my thinking is. And along the lines with coach, I look at it as it's a term of respect. I'm 50-something years old, and I have best friends who I grew up with, and I still call their parents Mr. and Miss. But it's whatever makes you comfortable, because I agree. I've had, I coached for 1,000th of a second middle schoolers, and they come up to me and they call me coach, and to me it sounds weird. It's like, wow, I haven't really earned that title yet. So it is a term of respect. So I don't think that's an issue. I think you go formal until they tell you otherwise.
Right on.
And, that's it. Work. I'm going to find myself down south in Las Cruces with work. I'm going to go check out the Aggies and see what they can do.
Scout for me, will you? Scout for me. Yeah, I'll give you a bowl beanie and you can scout.
Oh, hey, there you go. Hey, I'm going to meet the kid over there. Maybe he can give me some Western gear so I can be as inconspicuous as possible.
All right. Enjoy it.
Appreciate the time.
See ya. Text line says, next door neighbor coached basketball at St. Pius, always referred to him as Mr. Tybor. Okay, fair enough. Howard, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. Good day, sir.
Good day, Jeff, JJ, DC, a.k.a. Don Corleone.
Don Corleone.
How y'all doing today?
Life's grooving. What's up?
I think that if you're cashing the check, making a living as a coach is appropriate.
Okay.
And I'm with Grady. I mean, I see a lot of customers, and I'm always Mr. and Mrs. until I'm given permission to use their first name. So, having said all that, what do you guys think, Edward? What do you think of, how does Eddie sound?
I think it would be appropriate. He might want Coach Eddie, but...
Yeah, he might want Coach Crusher. He might want to go CC on us, but, the betting thing is hard. I took the Titans last night. I really felt like, they were going to be able to run the ball a little bit better. And they didn't run it half bad, but I kind of thought Levis was going to...
What was the spread last night? A little bit of a breakout.
What was the spread last night?
What's that? What was the spread last night?
3.
Oh, that hurts.
Yeah, thank you. This betting thing is hard.
It's hard, man.
So, I choose to... When I win, I have the money Cash App to me. When I lose, I just pay it out of my pocket. That way, when I look at my Cash App balance, I think I'm ahead of the game. I think I'm winning, but I'm not.
Yeah, you're winning. Enjoy the weekend, Howie.
Big game. Big game for the boys this weekend.
Yeah, big
Later,
one.
guys.
All right, we'll talk to you on Monday because we're done. Thank you to Richard Pitino, or Coach Pitino, if you prefer. He was with us today. You can listen to that over on sportsanimalabq.com. Click on the opening drive, and it's there for you, along with all of our stuff this week. Great week this week. Adrian, it looks great. DC, enjoy the weekend. Great stuff this week. Jim Rome Show is next. The Herd with Colin Cowards after that. 2 Men On comes your way at 4, and we're back with award-winning radio Monday morning at 7 a.m. Big weekend for you, huh?
Huge weekend.
Enjoy it. Listen to JJ. He's got the pregame show on News Radio KKOB tomorrow. I will have the TV call with George Carter for Lobos and UNLV. Go to themw.com. Be kind, loving, caring, and sharing. Have a great, safe weekend.
Kevin Rowe. Over the years,
we would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready.
My coach, my teacher, my older sisters, my grandma, my brother, my tutor, my dad, and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
Hi, I'm Steve Stucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
If you're drunk, blasted, intoxicated, ripped, plastered, taint, destroyed, bruh. If you're like this, you shouldn't be driving.
We here at Clark's Pet Emporium welcome you to bring in your pets. We know that having your pet with you makes the experience of shopping for them even better.